Futures extending declines from Friday's session early on this morning, back in negative territory right across the board, coming off quite the tumble to end the week on Friday. We're below March lows now. We're trading near fresh year lows for all three U.S. indexes this morning. The benchmark 10-year, meanwhile, back to the upside, hitting its highest point since 2018, 3.185. The high point now for the year for the 10-year. The rate increase from the Fed recently continues to put pressure on the market, continues to put pressure on tech stocks, specifically mega cap tech right across the board to the downside this morning. We'll have a look at Meta coming up here, Netflix, Apple, pick one, Microsoft even. In negative territory once again. Energy stocks also tumbling along with crude oil this morning, down more than 2% on continued supply and demand concerns, specifically coming out of China with more COVID lockdowns, over in China. Rivian shares on watch this morning. News over the weekend, Ford going to sell 8 million of its 100 million share position in Rivian, and Palantir to the downside as well. A bit of a broken record this morning. A lot of things to the downside. It's Monday, May 9th, 2022. TraderTV.live starts now. Yeah, pretty ugly to start. NASDAQ leading 2.25 right now to the red side of things. S&P and Dow more than a full percent, back in negative territory as well. Crude oil 2+ in the red, as I mentioned, on more supply concerns coming out of China. Pretty ugly start to the week as well for cryptocurrencies. Bitcoin 8 right now, Ethereum 10% right now to the downside. But hey, welcome to Monday. Hope everyone's weekend was good, because here we go again, guys. A bit of a bloodbath to start things off this morning.
Well, it was Mother's Day, so of course it was a good weekend. That's That's always going to be a good one. But it doesn't mean we come in this morning and things don't look ugly. It started with crypto over the weekend. I think obviously everyone saw the carnage that happened. You're talking 29 on Bitcoin is the next level of support. Then it gets leaked. That that Ford is going to sell 8 million of their 102. And then there's another seller of apparently 12 to 13 of Rivian, 13 million Rivian shares, which is unidentified. I guess that's probably Amazon, but we don't really know who that's going to be. So you got all kinds of things going on. And we do have a little bit of earnings this week, but the real story is this overall market. I know Bostic just came out and tried to say some things about sort of supporting the economy, but really it's one of those Mondays where we're not going to sit where we are right now. Like, it's either one of those, everything feels like it's the absolute worst, and then it's a shakeout at a bottom. You get one of those like temporary, like little rallies off the open, or we're going to be talking about that 7% limit down type thing again. So there's no in between, I don't think.
No, I'm going to say it's going to be exactly in between that, to be honest with you. I don't think we rally too much, and I don't think we get too much close to that 7%, guys. So, but you could. I mean, like Neil said, man, a lot of these names have dropped below some of the levels that we thought would hold, including Microsoft. But there's no easier trade today than Rivian. I mean, I just noticed we don't see Brendan's trades. He has this Rivian short. Here it is right now. This is $1, almost $1 in the money. And I just wish I was here earlier today, because this name, boom. I was talking with Baxter about this yesterday as well, my kid, and he was just like, oh, this is just a max short position. And I was like, yeah, but at what level does it eventually stop? Down 20% right now. We're short 24, and you could have been short 25, 26, 27, all the way up here. But there it is, $29 on Friday, heading to the south side. I am bidding a little bit to get some more out here ahead of 23, but down goes Rivian right there. It is. Like, wow, what a great trade this has been today for Rivian, man. You got to be short on this name. Here it goes. We're $1+ in the money now. And it's funny because I came in and I was like, right there, Neil and Brendan were already in, and I was like, you guys short Rivian, and it's like, not that it was too far down, but it's like, oh my God, this thing just keeps going down. And I just sat down, offer, enter, boom. What's up, Spencer? Spencer in the back has this trade, I hope, as well. And I know Brendo has it, and I hope you guys have it. Rivian, it looks like it's going down, down, down today. No, I have no idea where this is going to stop. We're $1+ change in the money. It's all over the sticky note, and I hope you guys have this as well.
It's not good at the moment. Sitting here since 7:30 this morning, waiting for some sort of bottom or bid to come in, but there isn't one. Just continues to slide for RIVN. We'll show you the chart. We'll talk about it a little more coming up. Before we do, let's bring in Miss V. Good morning.
Good morning, team. Happy trading Monday to you all. I wish you a great, profitable day. Please make sure you like this video, and let's get it started, Brandon.
Let's get it started, guys. Lots to discuss. This was the headline over the weekend. Leaked. I don't know if you want to talk about it, maybe on purpose being leaked, that Ford is selling 8 million of its 100 million position. Lockup today. Lockup expired actually midnight yesterday, which means these positions can now be sold on Rivian. But yeah, no bid as of yet, guys, for RIVN.
Yeah, well, it's one of those, like, ever since, I think it was the beginning of May, we started talking about this lockup, but maybe it's a leak, maybe it's not. But the only thing I would say that makes it possibly on purpose, like why you would say that, is it's only 8 million shares. And I say only because it's out of a 102. And Amazon has 160. So it could be contrived as, okay, we're going to let it out that that's how much we're selling, and that's all that we're selling. That would be the reason why I think that would come out. Otherwise, you know, why would you tip your hand? Usually you get the regular no comment, then why would they bother saying what they're going to do, announcing their plans, and then tipping the market against them? But I'm actually noticing Ford's not really budging too much. I know the entire market's down and it's down 3%, but it's not really making too big of a move here. And you would think, as Rivian's cratering and they're only selling a portion of their stake, you know, at this point, it almost feels like if they don't make a reaction here on Ford that tells you the market's priced in, substantial loss on the whole thing. Otherwise, why would we not be at least loosely following here? Because, you know, we're not really doing much of anything at these bottoms on Ford. And I haven't really checked Amazon as much as Ford, because we do know it is Ford that's selling a portion. But yeah, if they make a temporary bottom and we still see cratering over in Rivian, that will tell me that the market has said, hey, you know, we understand they're taking the hit here. We're moving forward and judging this business based on what it should be.
Right. Yeah, I don't even actually know where Ford is in on Rivian. So, I mean, they could be in, you know, below this price. Who knows where they're in. But yeah, Ford's been getting hit here. I love to buy Ford instead of, I mean, I'm going to be picking up some Ford shares at some point. I mean, I've been buying some tech names. Obviously, today they go lower. So we talk about dollar cost averaging. And I think at some point you got to step in and start to do that. If you hadn't done it already, I'm doing it and I'm still doing it now. As the market does have a chance to rebound back upside, right? Neil mentioned that could rally off the open. I'm sure as hell hoping it does. I'm only in 40% of this Rivian trade right now. We got some out for 75 or 25 cents, 50 cents, and then $1. So we just dollar cost averaging on the out as well, downside here as it continues to make a move down. So, I mean, look, there's so many names, man. AMD is at a key level of $90. If we get down to there, we like that. Microsoft's broke through 272 there, which was a nice little bottom before as well, right? I mean, on the daily, it kind of looks crazy, but right into there, 272 and change. So, you know, there's lots of names here that I feel like if we do get a bump up, that there's going to be ability to short it. There's that 272 right there on Softy. So look, I have notes on Apple, Microsoft, Facebook, AMD, all on the sticky note, and we're definitely going to be shorting Rivian here. And then Palantir is another name that we talked about this with Daniel Shea, and it was just like, hey, it's the same playbook for all of these names. If you've IPO'd in the last 2 years and you're not profitable, you're getting hit on your report no matter what comes out, right? And so here we go. It's going to be a really, really super fun day. I mean, I know the market's down, but this is like a day trader's dream. I mean, we've been in such a great market to trade over the last couple years, obviously, here as day traders, that the fun just continues and you're in the right spot. We're going to be putting on a lot of trades. I've got a lot of ideas I hope can work out here. So that's what I'm looking for. Facebook, big cap tech. I didn't look at any of the Chinese names, but there's lots of stuff here, guys.
Pretty much everything to the downside this morning, including some of the Chinese names, more concerns around regulatory issues with Chinese ADRs. We got to talk about cryptocurrencies as well. We mentioned it briefly there at the beginning, but I mean, is 30 the next stop here for Bitcoin? Kind of feels that way at this point. So anything related here, including Coinbase, guys, worth mentioning. Tuesday, we get earnings from Coinbase.
Yeah, I mean, 30,000 is a round number, but on the actual support sits at like 29 or just below that, 29,000. I think that's the level that we're looking at next. Don't sleep on. And obviously, Coinbase is, you know, it already broke that $100 level, and I would have liked to have traded that before the earnings. But Yeah, we talk about MSTR as well and their exposure. This has gotten pretty interesting. And if you read any of the articles last week about their exposure and the price at which they start getting calls, that's 21,000. So we're a little bit of ways away from that, but the chart just ugly. This got through 300 just recently, and if it makes any kind of a pop, I'm looking at 280, 300 as an interesting level for them. And really the manner in which they've doubled down with their entire balance sheet essentially being all crypto, being Bitcoin, has put them under a tremendous amount of pressure. So this is now a stock that I think bears watching, and I mentioned that 300 because we just took that support out, 900 to 300, and then just breaking that. If we get another rut through 30,000, this stock is going to get absolutely hammered, probably more so than some of the others that we've been watching, like Coinbase and maybe like a Silvergate or something like that. But yeah, MSTR now on the radar, and if we do get a 30,000, if we see that level, this is the stock I want to pull up.
We're talking about Bitcoins and stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, look, Coinbase, I was saying from a long time ago, and this is why we got out of our, and it's crazy where we wound up getting out, but we got out of our position a long time ago, and not out of it all, but it wasn't following crypto, right? So I mean, it's embarrassing to say this, but I was lucky enough to get out here right around 350 before this last earnings report, which is crazy because it's the top. And I've held so many garbage stocks all the way, so this is why this is just a fluke. But we were able to get some out there, and I was just saying, if you wanted to get into crypto, the best place to be would be crypto, not any of these exchanges. So that's what we've been doing. I still hold some Coinbase shares. Obviously, they're way underwater, but able to get out there. And as Bitcoin goes, man, I mean, you're down to 33 right now, which is kind of fine. I mean, I don't know why everybody is panicking all the time when we look at crypto. And I keep seeing people, this is actually held up fine. I mean, obviously it's cut in half from its high, but I mean, this is what we were expecting. There's stocks out there that are cut, 90% down. But look, I like that MSTR, and the thing is, crypto's right out of spot right now, 32,000, where we could bounce from this area. I don't think we do until the NASDAQ settles down. I mean, there's been a direct correlation between the NASDAQ and crypto for a while, but now it's finally starting to fall. Like, it almost lost its correlation in here because the NASDAQ has been falling pretty much since January. I mean, we did have that nice rally there, which coincides with this, and then a nice little move back down to 32,000. You still have this 33,000, 30 flat sitting there right now. So once you break through there, yeah, then maybe you're down to 25, but oh man, until asset classes, I mean, even gold's down. I don't know what it was down today, $34 or something like that. It's very hard to find a safety rate here. So, I mean, unless you're in some T-bills or GICs, something like that, it's going to be very hard for your cash to remain anywhere. Some of the other names, man, Cardano's getting hit. Solana, which everybody loves Solana, that's down to $70, something like that, from a high of 180 or 190. As I'm looking at Ethereum right now, 2,400, and that just keeps on, motoring. It touched 2,350. Now with a little bit of a rebound, and this is what I'm talking about. Look at the rebound in the NASDAQ here, and you're getting a little bit of a rebound in some crypto names as well. So, hey, I actually think if you want to get some, relatively strong returns and you think the market's about to bounce, crypto will bounce with the market as well. So there's ETFs, including ETHE on the pink sheets, that you could trade if you want to get some Ethereum. And then there's GBTC, shout out to Jeff Mendel from OTC Markets, but there's also GBTC that comes into play as well for the Bitcoin. I don't know, the daily chart doesn't seem to want to load, but believe me when I tell you, it does have a lot of volume and it has decent liquidity. So for me, again, if you're going to play in any of these crypto names, don't even bother with I mean, you had a good one in Silvergate. I mean, I know they're all coming down, but like Coinbase has been just nasty.
That was a way up kind of thing.
Yeah.
On the way up, there was lots of good things to play. That's what.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, like we just said, Coinbase was $360.
Oh, I should definitely say this. It's Silvergate's on the hook. If anything happens to it's actually Silvergate that they bank with. So like that's that's actually a big contagion risk. If
Silvergate's held up.
I know, but like if MSTR goes under, I mean, Silvergate's in a world that they're the one that gets the hurt, and you always want to say it's like Archegos, whatever. Like who's on the hook when somebody goes belly up. But
I don't know what does that mean on the hook, because they just can sell the bitcoins, right? I mean, their price, MSTR's stock price is on the hook, right?
Yeah, but it depends on how far it goes down. Like I think that's one of the realities. Like how far can things go to the downside? And
do we know how many bitcoins they own, MSTR?
170,000 is.
So basically, what you're saying is that they'd have to go on Silvergate's platform and sell all those, which could.
But then you don't. But you also don't know, like, okay, well, what other clients do they have? Like, what's the total?
Because look at Silvergate here.
Yeah, but they're exactly. They're still above $100.
Yeah.
I know it's still relatively strong, but I have some concerns about that one. If we ever got to 20,000, I think the concern would be, whether you have that contagion. Like I forget what it was. Something broke peg, and it wasn't a big name. Like it wasn't a big stable coin, but a stable coin over the weekend broke peg, and that's another concern I always have as well. But anyways, now we're getting a bit off topic, but. Yeah, it's not all rosy with Silvergate. On the way
we're
up,
not getting off topic. The topic is crypto.
Okay, fair enough. But like, there's so many things happening right now.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff happening, and there's a lot that we have to get to, including Rivian's even rallying back a little bit. Time to short more here as we pop back up to 2370 here it's still my SI chart. Rivian is popping. That's why you got to get some out, right? I mean, you dollar cost in and out here. We got some out at 23 flat there, so that was a good trade when it broke back through, but now it's coming back in. Ooh, should have traded it instead of talked about it there. It came up to 2370. I think this is another reload for a short here, Brendo.
Just watching, no kidding. Finally, a bit of a bid there for Rivian. Just watching Twitter, guys. No reaction to this yet, but some Saudi interest apparently just being reported. 4.6% stake in Twitter, possibly a part of this deal with Elon. Also, I wanted to mention Peloton real quick. Peloton reports Tuesday as well, aftermarket Tuesday, down 2% here, but just had a bit of a bid come in for PTON on this. There's a new brand positioning, new marketing campaign, and apparently their first ever tagline. I haven't actually seen it yet, still trying to find that, but new marketing position, I guess, ahead of earnings for Peloton. Another one that obviously has just been destroyed.
New tagline. Oh, okay.
Peloton has a new tagline?
I don't know what. There's probably funnier people than me that can come up with some good stuff. I'll leave that one alone. But like the last we heard, they were trying to get some interest so they could show up the balance sheet and sell 15 to 20% of the company, which makes some sense. And no one seems to think all the names that were there before are all that interested right now. And yeah, I don't know what the catalyst is going to be. I'm not sure what you could hear on the earnings call, but a lot of names that have been under tremendous pressure are at least trying to say the right things, like Uber. Like now Uber wants to say the right things about cutting costs and tightening up a little bit. Look, if we don't get above 16 and 17, these key levels here in Peloton, like you just broke the channel twice to the downside on Friday. This definitely would have to rally above that before anyone pre-earnings is going to think that a bottom is in here. But 15 for now has held. I mean, I've seen it on the bid. There's no size down there, but it's kind of like 8 in Palantir right now. Like it's just, for whatever reason, we are getting a bit of a bounce. Normally, if there was more volume here and there was not a bunch of other things going on, I'd be looking to short the bottom on Piton, but there's just so much else to be looking at here that it is just the 16 and the 17 that will interest me. That story about Twitter that you mentioned, Brendan, yeah, if there's going to be foreign investment, that actually opens up a window or an opportunity, I guess, at least for some of the national security concerns that would go into blocking that deal. So it's good. Like it's good news to get the funding. It's somewhat bad news in that it creates a potential hurdle, and I say potential. Don't at me. Potential hurdle for the deal getting closed because you get a bunch of foreign investment, and suddenly that gives them an opening.
Yeah, Peloton. I mean, look, there's going to be lots. When you're dying to get in shape, that's a good one, Internet Enforcers. No, that's not it. That would be hilarious if it was. Okay, so right now, Rivian, I mean, just to give you guys an update, someone's asking me how my prices have changed here, but it's just an average price, right? I mean, so we got in here at 24 initially, out 23.75, out 23.50, out 23 flat. So that's 20, 40, 60. Then we only reloaded another 20%. We didn't reload the full position yet, just in case we do come back into 24. Look, there's going to be relief rallies in some of these names. So it's not like I think Peloton, or sorry, well, Peloton's another one, but it's not that I think Rivian is just going to tank all day. I mean, you know, it's like we said, it's only 10% of Ford's position, but still a good chunk there and more to follow. It's not going to be good. We've talked about the lockup. I do have a new position alert. So let's hit it here. The once beloved Palantir. I still like the company. I mean, I haven't stopped from that, but now you're right back down to where everybody's gotten long here off the direct listing, back down below that direct listed price now as we see $8. We'll talk about their earnings report. The report was actually great. It was the same thing as always, though, with these companies, and that is the guide. They continue to talk about maybe slowing growth, and we will get to this, but it's on our watch list, all the notes. But look at the volume right now, 8.5 million shares. It's doing a lot of volume down here at $8. It's held $8, and I mean, this is just about as clear of a trade as you're going to find. I mean, you go long here with tons of upside and a limited downside. You break back down below the 790, then you can cash out of Palantir right now and take a whopping 16-cent hit. So that's something that you can look for here. Remember, we're day traders, so that's what I'm going to do. Everything's a sell on the imbalance locator today. So including the two names that we've basically talked about all morning. Just now, Palantir and Ford are on there. Neil mentioned Uber's on there as a sell as well. And then we go. There's going to be no NASDAQ names yet, so don't get too excited about the NASDAQ ripping up here, because at 925, when these market on open orders come through, I'm expecting a little bit of a downside move here. Here goes Palantir. We're long at 806. Here it goes. I mean, it's at 808. Let's just see if the volume can get going. We're going to piece some out, man. If we can get something in the 20s, we'll do that on Palantir. But I like the long here, and you can find my sticky note on why. And our notes also on the watch list are good on Palantir today. So lots happening. I'm just as excited for this day. I mean, look, like I said, you don't want to look into your accounts today by any stretch of the imagination. I will to be buying more, but I mean, if you're not, if you need any of your investment money, today's not a good day. But yeah, this writing's been on the wall. The Fed's told us exactly what they're going to be doing from November. So like I was speaking with my father yesterday, and it's like, what are we supposed to do? The only thing to have done was to sell everything, and I didn't really want to do that. So we have raised some capital. You guys know I'm putting some stuff to work. We've sold some Nucor. As that's even come down, we've sold some Eli Lilly. And I've talked about, you know, some of the stocks that we've had for winners, starting to pair those off. And I think it's about time that you get into some of these more beat down names, which we're doing. So I don't know, Brendan, it's 8:52 right now. The market's trying to rally a little bit.
Okay, a couple of things. Just a heads up on Twitter, there was a volume spike that came in there, a little bit delayed. Also, I saw a couple people talking about this, little Canadian content for you this morning. This is Shaw Communications in New York, dual listed, SJR here in Toronto, or SJRB, I guess, in Toronto. Yeah. Canadian regulators blowing up this deal as of the weekend, apparently. So this Rogers-Shaw combo not happening. So if you're in Canada and you pay too much for wireless as it is, I guess they're trying to help.
Yeah, I guess so. It's not really doing a heck of a lot, but
Rivian's Rip City.
It does work. You know, the crazy thing about this is, like, you actually have been thinking about this year, lots more deals getting blocked. Like, it's an interesting thing. Like, when you think the market comes down and there's going to be more deals and more consolidations, but the regulators have been having a field day with blocking some of these, or at least having opposition for antitrust concerns. So, you know, I think it's just more along the lines of you watch out for it. It's not as locked in, some of these M&A deals. I know we keep mostly talking about Twitter because that's by far the most interesting one. Like, if we're talking deals and we're not talking Activision and Twitter, then really we're probably doing a bit of a disservice. Oh, now my chart doesn't want to load, but Rivian just made a bit of a pop there. Yeah. By the way, Tesla's getting very close to 840, coming back up. That was a key level, so it's trying to go. So there is a bit of a spike or bounce that just happened in the market. Tiny bounce that just happened in the market. A few of these names are starting to come into some pre-market resistance levels. On chart.
Yeah, we just reloaded that short on Rivian there, and it just went into the 70s, and we could have taken some profit. We're not going to do that. We are bidding a little bit lower, though, near 50. Excuse me here, on Rivian. I don't know why it just went up there, but this is what we're expecting from this name. Like I said, I don't think this is going to be a smooth sail here for Rivian. I think you're going to have to, like, massage your positions and take a little bit of risk here with some of the trades. We do have these highs of, these didn't happen. I mean, they did, but they're not, I'm not like worried about. Well, they're on e-signal too.
Yeah, but it's
but they're the
overnight
dark pool dumps. Yeah, so they're at 8 o'clock. Some of these moves up to 26. So I don't think there's a real level there. But we can't even look at daily charts for Rivian or anything. We're way below everything right now. Obviously, if you get up to 430, then that's going to be a short. I mean, I was just looking at some of the sticky notes, man. We don't even have a long written on here. We've been shorting this thing since like $50, $60, $80. Rivian's just been a disaster. But again, you're down 16%. Ford hasn't stepped in and sold anything yet. So, off open, is it going to happen? Does it happen later on in the day? It was a leaked story, so I don't know. I mean, I'm not even sure if it's confirmed yet or anything, but I am short this name right now. We're long Palantir, we're short Rivian, and I'm not going to give this up until I see that I've absolutely destroyed on this name. So I feel like this is a short, maybe up until 28, man. Like, honestly, we got to give this a little bit of room today. So we'll see, but right now, speechless a little bit. Not speechless, but it's going to the upside. We don't want to dig into too many shares here because it is the pre-market, but if we get any more pops into like 24.50, which we may get, I mean, that could be another area to put a short on. Excuse me. Every morning, man, I got this frog.
I like 24.60 for
Yeah, 24.50. Yeah, exactly.
It's right in that range, but it's just one of those you got to look into, and it's just, we've said this before, it's like you're walking into a trap, well, you spring the trap because there's nothing else to do, and that's the only play that can be made. But there's a few other interesting names out there, one of which I cannot believe that there is somebody that is left to make downgrades on one of the names on the right there, Brendo.
Space. Another one here. Spoiler alert, it's below $8, if you're wondering this morning. TripAdvisor, Starbucks, DraftKings, there's a lot of red numbers on the board anyways. Kellogg here, they reported Match Group as well. But pretty red day, guys. DraftKings, Starbucks, Space, and TripAdvisor.
Anyways, I was just telling Sean, I'm like, oh yeah, like with the bloodbath I saw, I'm like, Virgin's going to hit the low from Friday.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no volume. It gets like 70 million downgrades. I mean, there was probably like 3 or 4, but you know what I mean. But then it's not even threatening the low. And I feel there's a few names out there, and maybe this is one of them. Lordstown feels that way too, where there's just so much exhaustion for the sells because they've come in so far. But either way, 635 is the all-time low on Virgin Galactic. I am looking at that. I just had Kellogg's up because if you're trying to find something, days like today are not bad to find relative strength. And you can see something like a Kellogg's putting that in. It got the upgrade. But if something like this, which made a nice little bottom that's not even being threatened on no volume this morning, if that actually holds up 71.60 or 71.50, if we start to come down and make fresh lows, look out for things that catch a bid. Look out for things that don't break lows or hold the top end of channels. Like it's been breaking out. Even if it pulls back, if it holds the top end of this channel at 71, still a pretty bullish sign. So you're always looking for that relative strength and weakness. I'm already seeing names that are close to flat like Pepsi and Procter. In this case, Kellogg's, probably Coke doing a similar thing. There are a few pockets of not disaster, if I want to put it that way, I guess.
Okay, what's happening is a disaster right now. There's some, excuse me, man, it's something still. I got to do a wash here, but Palantir down right now. I guess they're having a call. They're doing work for U.S. allies, but it says not yet paid. I don't know what that means exactly. I mean, they have bad debts with like big foreign governments. But we'll
governments always pay eventually.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah. Look, I like Palantir. I mean, we've talked about that, the data, the infrastructure plays, things like that they're working with a lot of different facets of governments, immigration. I mean, even food and safety. Lots of stuff happening at Palantir. But honestly, I mean, it's going to break this level, so we're just waiting for that to happen as this is getting, murked to the downside. And this is just what happens with all of these names, man. I mean, there's another one on the list there, DraftKings. Like, didn't they? I think they reported last week as well, and they had a similar, or maybe they didn't. I think they did, and they had a very, very similar fate. I mean, DraftKings at the downside, and then now today they get downgraded. Like, I mean, downgraded, really? I mean, you're downgrading this when it's like to what? So big downside move here on DraftKings. I thought off their report that they had talked about getting a higher daily average user spend rate, things like that. I mean, I thought DraftKings was turning it around, and then you're down that 3% and a bit right now on DKNG. Another interesting name there, Starbucks. absolutely, in my opinion, absolutely nothing wrong with Starbucks model or anything like that. They're obviously going through some labor issues. We've talked about that, but this is another name here. I think this is one that you could, I mean, I've been talking about picking up high quality names. I think Starbucks fits that, but they're actually not below their recent lows right now. So, I mean, that's a name right here. That's something to look out for. 73.50 back here from early May. I mean, you're not going to find too many stocks that are above like May 3rd, May 4th values right now. And Starbucks is one of those names. So, you know, maybe there is some relative strength in Starbucks. Obviously on a downgrade, that's going to be pretty nasty for them too. And if you break that 73.50, then, I mean, that's a good short. But for right now, Starbucks holding up pretty good. So a little surprised to see it on that downgrade side. And then RCI, and Neil and I were talking about it, I own this stock. Pretty big in Canada for me. But I mean, it's not a big position anymore because I've been averaging into all these tech names, so all my positions look small now when you look at my Googles and Apples and things like that and softies. But yeah, this has been a big hit for them over the last little while as money's come out of the market in total. And Rogers Communications is similar to a Verizon, AT&T, and things like that. So they're trying to consolidate with another telecommunications company here in Canada, which it looks like is not going to happen now. So watch out for a 50-51 break here on Rogers Communications, back to the downside as well. I own shares. This is 6 or 7%. I don't know what it is now with this move down, but it's like a 6-7% dividend, so it's just one of those plays again here. Rivian coming back downside now, as we did test higher, so that's going to be a play to watch out for. We averaged into that short. We talked about that twice on the rip. My best price is 24. You can get it now if you want. And then Palantir, for some reason, back above 8. So, yeah, like I said, this name, I'm here to support it, man, but at the same time, I can't hold levels up. I mean, the shares I'm using, it just gets wiped out in one fell swoop. So, okay, Palantir, I see you now. So, look, I like this name. We've seen it happen before on Palantir. And if you go back, it was its first swoosh day, which was right here back in May. Actually, it was this quarter last year that they opened down like 20-something% and then finished the day up 20%. So again, I'd have to go back. I can't, you can't equate this environment to that environment, but it was this day right here, May 11th, which today's May 9th. So May 11th, back in 2021, Palantir was closed the day before at 1850, then went all the way down to 1640 before ripping and closing at 2050. So Palantir does have an opportunity to go back up. I'm not talking this position up because I own shares. It's just a matter of day trading, and we're going to have to watch out for the relative strength right now in Palantir off of $8. I mean, it's not relatively strong. It's bouncing off this $8 a couple of times. Watch out for this 790 break. That's the level to watch out for, and it probably happens in just a matter of seconds.
All right, let's bring in Arun here, get a look at the overall market as we try very desperately to hold on to, I guess it's the May 2nd low here, Arun, acting as a bit of support for the overall market. What are you looking at today?
About 40.50. That was the level we were looking at. We bounced off that. You're right, Brendan. It was May 2nd. It was around 55, I think, 55 or 56. Now we clearly got below there. We've got as low as 30 something, 31, maybe 32 on the low end. Anyways, we've gotten pretty low. So that level's clearly gone. But now on the way back up, is that going to provide some resistance? And given how much action we've been playing with May 2nd, and then also going into last week as well, there's activity around those 70s, those 80s, and I'm hoping this market has just enough juice to get up into that 70, 80 area, because I would like to take a shot on the short side. But I mean, at 50, it seems a little pricey, but keep in mind, if 50 is gone, which it is at this point, next up has to be the 4,000 round mark, and that's a big number. If we get any sort of downside trajectory that takes us towards a low of the 30s, then you got to think that 4,000 is going to be a magnetic number that people are going to be hunting for or looking for to get this market to. So right now, NASDAQ down 2%, S&P down 1.58 and almost 1.6, and it is struggling to bounce. So I'm just, only read I can make is on the short side, given what we have. So I'm going to try to play for the shorts in the 70s and 80s. Stop above is going to be 41.15 is going to be the top end level that I'm going to look at. See if we can get a fade on a move back up that I can kind of, take the short on, see if we can play it back down. If we were to break to the downside at that point, there really isn't anything left. You just have to let the market discover what levels it wants to work with, and then we can go from there. But for now, it does look like a bounce is going to be the only option for a short. Complete opposite of that would be a false break reversal back through the top, but that's going to take a lot of juice and a lot of volume, and there's a lot of resistance. So we would need to clear at least 42.15 for us to kind of do a false move that kind of goes straight back up. So 42.15 up top, 41.15 is the closest resistance level, and then any sort of bounce into the 70s to 80s allows you to kind of fade this and see if this market has any more downside room to go.
Great stuff. Thanks, Arun. Yeah, going to be important to see if we can catch a bounce here today. That's the link to the watch list, guys. We'll get into that now. If you're looking for a free resource every single morning, we send it out before we come on at 8:30. Absolutely free. Miss V will have the link for you in the chat. Okay, let's go to Rivian to start here. I was just looking at Blue Apron just quickly. APRN. There was no reaction to this, but Citron. Remember, Citron only tweets positive things now. So Citron out with a note regarding Walmart and APRN, but never mind, it's not doing anything. Ford selling 8 million of Rivian shares. Lockup expired midnight yesterday, meaning I just checked, guys, there was 153 million shares possible to be sold. So this lockup now releases 153 million shares to potentially be sold.
That's a lot.
What does that mean, potentially? Yeah, no, they're being sold, man. They are being sold. It's just a matter of when.
Well, yeah, that's the question. That's
yeah,
the question.
And I mean, look, it's only done 7 million shares right now, and you're down 17%. The lockup is here. Not just these guys being able to sell. I mean, the story is about Ford, but how many other investors are in this name that are like, okay, that's it, I'm out, right? Because, I mean, you just see Lucid. We've seen a lot of these other names just continue to fall. And is the EV space the right space to even be in right now? These companies aren't making money. They're not producing anything. And if they are, you're talking about 25,000 vehicles. Lucid is 12 to 14,000 this year. You know, Tesla just delivered 310,000 vehicles in the quarter. So, I mean, if people are switching over to electric vehicles, like today, when I see gas is $2 a liter, which is like 2, 4, 6, like $7.80 a gallon, something like that here in Ontario right now. And it's disgusting. So I don't think these guys can make enough vehicles at all to fill the demand right now. And that's a good problem to have when demand is huge. But if you don't have supply, then, I mean, that's what the stock market's all about, right? And so right now, there's too much supply of Rivian shares on the long side, and they're going to get dumped at some point. I think that some point is today. The lockup is here. We already saw the story from Ford, or from CNBC, I guess, about, you know, an insider selling here coming through Ford today, and then many more to follow, including Amazon's going to be dumping. And what if that number of Ford is light? They own 108 million shares. You know, what if they decide to sell 20 million? I mean, that's when that would still be a decent investment that they'd have in Rivian, right? So who knows where it's going to go? We just we reloaded, obviously on the way up. We just took another piece out at 50. I think it was 56 there, or 57. We got a bid there. 56 it looks like on the way back down. So we're going to average into this short. I'm going to try to get some out as we fall into 23. But again, if we're going to talk about Rivian, I think you got to give the opportunity for it to rip back up as well. I mean, this name could take off to the upside just on a short squeeze. You know, people are like, hey, maybe this is too far down. Maybe the selling rumors is not factual. So we'll have to wait. I believe it's going to happen, man. We've been talking about shorting this name forever, including all around here. I mean, we love this $50 to $60 level. When it broke, it gave you a retest. Back down in. It really sucks. I'm not long or short Rivian anything in my own personal account, and I don't plan on being that way. I want to buy more Ford, I want to buy more GM, and I want to buy more Tesla. My only sort of home run play, I guess, is Fisker. I mean, I like Fisker. We talked about some of the cars that they're producing. They have the Pope Mobile is going to be rolling through in October, November. That should give them some good push forward, I guess. But other than that, man, Rivian just continues to get clocked. And for me, it's a short until it's not. And I was looking at this 26 level, maybe as I get out, if it breaks 26, just in case it's a ripper today. But I don't know, man. I mean, I'm not doing anything until that 26 comes. So I'll be loaded up short until then. And hopefully we can cross our fingers and close our eyes and Rivian will eventually touch 23 bucks at some point.
Yeah, maybe it will. I mean, it tends to me to think like if we go down, forget about 23. Like we're going lower than that, right? Like $20 is perfectly reasonable. And on top of that, it's not just the potential 8 million from Ford. It's the 12 or 13 or whatever that other number was. That was another undisclosed seller, which I don't see who else that could be. Possibly Amazon. But the story is if it goes to the upside, remember, in addition to the fact this is a crowded day trade, there's a lot of day traders that are paying very little in terms of borrows to be able to short it today. There's also already over a 10% short interest in the stock. So this is when we say squeeze, like it's on two levels. Don't just look at the short interest. Understand that basically everybody is going to want to be shorting this thing, and they had to pay the gap down. How this was holding a bid above $30 last week is beyond me. It didn't make any sense at the time. Whoever was holding it up at that price, like what were you like what? Like it's just whatever. It doesn't. It was a weird thing that it didn't break. If it gets back to that price, I think it's going to be. If somehow it gets back to $29.30, as long as I'm still alive, like that's like the just close your eyes and you've got to go all in at that price, because I don't see how anybody who's looking to sell shares of the stock, if they even sniff that price band, they aren't dumping all over it any chance they get.
Go on to Palantir. Not much to say other than wider loss. Forecast was not good. Palantir to the downside, as Sean was saying, the earnings call on now, but trying to hold the bottom here at least, guys.
Yeah, I mean, the main problem with Palantir here, first of all, their net loss narrowed, so there's a 101 million versus 123, so that was good. But again, the key point here, the key metric is loss. I mean, they're still losing money. When you're in this environment and losing money, I don't remember a stock that's reported a net loss that's gone up. I mean, if 10 months ago, that might have been fine. But since November, once we've switched over and we know that the Fed doesn't have backing anymore, or our back, they're not going to be buying up this corporate debt. They're trimming the balance sheet instead of adding to it. This is going to be a problem. They also forecasted, this is the big problem, second quarter revenue of just 470 million, which apparently is implying just a 25% growth rate when the street wants 49% growth. Sorry, what they reported 49% a year earlier. So if their growth is chopped in half and they're a growth stock, I mean, adios. Well, first of all, right now Rivian is Tank City for me right now, which is nice. The net's going up. I've averaged into the position, so it's a good one for me. But hey, look, Palantir, I mean, I can't apologize for liking the stock. I still do like the stock, but we've talked about this last week, even with Danielle Shea. I mean, we called this out together at $10 or $11, whatever it was when she was on Friday. Well, I guess it wasn't. Yeah, it must have been around $10 in the afternoon there. And it was just like, hey, what's the play for Palantir? And it was just short because DraftKings, I mean, a lot of these names, as I just look at the list, we can go on and on about all of them coming through. Coinbase, a lot of these names that have IPO'd in the last little while that are now cutting growth forecasts, that just haven't swung to profitability. Now cost of capital is so much higher with the interest rates going up. And guess what? They're going up even more. So, I mean, do these stocks work in this environment? The answer is no. So unfortunately for me, unfortunately for a lot of us, we're sitting here holding the bag on Palantir shares. But I don't know what stock you're not holding the bag on. I mean, no, but even Microsoft, I mean, 330 to 260.
That's not holding bags. I think, but you're
no,
right.
But I mean, it depends when you started to buy this stock. I mean, anybody that was starting to buy Palantir, in the 30s and 40s, that was a big time move to the upside on Palantir back in the day. It got squeezed with all those meme stocks. We always thought, I mean, we never talked like these were realistic highs. I thought in here, between 25 to 26 was something. You got the 50 period and the 200 period crossing here, downside moves. But yeah, I honestly thought that we would hold some of these direct listed prices of $9. So we're not far away from there, but you can even take it even a step further. There's not too many stocks that are even above their IPO prices right now if you came to market in the last 2 years. So maybe we look at it that way when we're talking about holding bags. But like AMD goes from 150 to 90. So I mean, some of these other names that really aren't profitable, we can't expect much from them. But
no, that's the thing. I was comparatively speaking, take a look at C3AI or a Snowflake. Right? Like those are those charts look actually a little bit worse. And I just want to quickly bring up SOPA here because it's going absolutely nuts after their earnings. And thank you guys in the chat for bringing it up. Rightfully so. Was already looking at it. It just hit at 255, which is also its 50 period. not a terribly significant level, but as it tries to churn through some of this, come on, let's see if we can come over here just to show you. It turned around at this price before. It's not a gigantic level, but I think it's $3 probably a little bit more significant. If it were to pull back, I'm looking 225 or so. But volume spike and breaking out, there are very few names that are really, really strong this morning. So add SOPA to that list, Miss V.
I remind you to like this video as we need just 300 more likes to 1,000. Let's do this before the bell, please. And back to Brendan.
Yeah, let's continue along here with tech stocks, guys. Another group that under pressure on Friday, obviously, but we did get that bounce late in the day, and some of these were the leaders going into the close right at the end of the day. So Apple, Microsoft, I mean, pick one, Meta, even Netflix, all downside again this morning.
I mean,
well, you said you're not holding bags in Microsoft because I don't think you can call it holding a bag if it's pulled back and we haven't gotten through like that major support level. Now we're right here right now. We said last week if Microsoft gets through and cannot hold these dip areas just below 270, then that's when we get into trouble. Now we've hit 270. And broken through it just by a few cents here. There was one time we got down to 260 and snapped right back, but each time we've managed to recover, it's been a little bit more shallow, and it's run into resistance. So this is one of the bellwether stocks. You hold an offer below this 69.70 area, and you test 260s, and it can't mean good things for the markets. That being said, I mean, the only levels I'm looking at are 260 to that bottom, and then from the top, if we'd have to get back to Friday's lows at 272. And I think that's where you could have a bit of a turnaround potentially for something like a Microsoft. But it's either that wipeout bottom that we saw a couple weeks ago, or it's that 272, and the entire market is under pressure if we hit that 260 price on Softy in particular. Facebook 202.50 looks pretty good for like a short area, and then I have support on Facebook at like 193 looks pretty dicey if we get there, but that's not a bad place for a bounce.
All right, we reloaded some more Rivian shares. We'll see how that goes. But we're talking big cap here. So let's go over to Apple, which as I look, I mean, I'm pretty proud of myself that we shorted the out of this name all Friday. So we were on the right call there. But right now, man, it's broken below. I mean, right there, you're at this level where we opened up Friday morning, 154. So, I mean, we've been here before. Like, this is what I think what Neil's talking about as well with Microsoft. We've seen these prices before. It sucks when they're going down. Obviously, Apple's a huge part of all the indexes, so it's going to sort of float around, when the market's down. It's going to be hard for this thing to be up, but we've seen that happen before. I'm going to short this around this 156. It was the bottom there on Friday on that move before popping back up. If you can't hold 156, we'll get out obviously pretty quickly on this trade, but a short into 156 for me makes a little bit of sense here. There's not really too much technical analysis to do on this name today anyways, I don't think. It is what it is for Apple. I think it's just going to follow the market, and right now the market is heading to the downside. We do get a little bit of a bump up here. As you can see, the NASDAQ just bouncing off 12,500 again. So, hey, we got to take that out, and then we can go to the high side. Neil talked about Microsoft. I think that level's there for sure at 272 or so. These are levels I wrote down on here. Facebook, 272 short. Apple, 156 short. And then I like the Meta short. Can't believe I just called it Meta. Palantir just took down the bottom, so we're out of that name. I mean, that was one of those names that we were just like, okay, just waiting for that one to break, to be honest with you. But there we go right here. Facebook up to 200 again right now on a little bit of a bump. I'm looking at 195 for FB to break through some of these bottoms. And I have to get my 20-minute chart. That's gone right now. But 195 was a bottom take that I was looking for Facebook. So it's 156 if Apple rips, it's 272 if Microsoft rips, and it's 195 if the market continues to go down here for Facebook and we can break the bottoms.
We are running into a bit of a resistance point here, it looks like. Oil, though, guys. Oil had a big bounce there from 107 right through to 108. Once again, some of the stocks moving higher along with it. 1.7 now, it was down more than 2.5. But under pressure on China concerns. Obviously, China, one of the biggest global importers of oil, but half the country locked down currently with COVID concerns. So oil back to the downside today.
Yeah, I mean, I was looking at Oxy there, and it really didn't budge when I saw oil just make a recent bounce. But Oxy in particular, which is why I'm looking at it, is at this, just sort of crazy high up here at 65 that it's been rejecting, 63.5 to 65 for the last few months now. And if you look at it, like it's just, It's not an obvious level. It's just an over-the-top obvious level. And if we don't get through 65, you've got to be shorting through. Rivian just bounced back down a little bit again.
Yeah, this is good, man.
It just keeps bouncing back and forth. Rivian just keeps bouncing back between 24 and 23.50. So there will be some scalping to be done. On Oxy, I'm just shooting 65 or nothing. It's either short pops in front of it, or wait for the breakout to eventually happen. But I feel like this level ain't going until if we get above 110. That's what it feels like to me. You need to get above 110 a barrel to bring this back to the upside because there's so much overhang on Oxy that it just hasn't consolidated up here long enough. So it's a short till it's not off 65, which obviously you got to watch oil futures if you're making that trade.
There it is again, man. Although we failed on Palantir here, Rivian is just, this is really the trade that we're focusing on today, is going to be Rivian. And we just rang the Reggie one more time. And look at these shorts. It's short at 10s, short at 15s there, back down in. So we've just loaded this stock up. And, we do have a decent position. Now we're getting out. Every time it comes in to 23.50, I still think we flush more. It's just a matter of what I think doesn't necessarily always happen. So if we could see some profits down there, we've already rang the register numerous times on these shorts. So it's about a reload into Rivian. And that's just going to be what happens for me like I said, all day. Literally all day. If we lose on it, it's going to have to go up to 26 or more for me. I want to be short that name no matter what. And then we talked a little bit about big cap here, and I was looking at AMD. Looks like we're going to get again below this 92 level. I think that's pretty obvious. I don't want to stand in front of 92 right now in case this market, like Neil mentioned, it's not impossible to circuit break at any point. So not just that, that's not why I would trade it. Even to go down 3 or 4% from here means we break 92. And then I was thinking at this point that the only place I'd be, and I have a decent order right now at 90 and a quarter, would be down here near 90. So if we get a flush down on AMD, 90 is a level that I'm looking at for this name as well. So, and this is, nothing is really bag holding, but we've already been to 85 on AMD. So some of these levels, man, could come right back in. And that's why you get out of some Rivian right here, because now it rips right back, goes right back up to 96, 97 here, and giving you another opportunity to repeat. So I just got out of about, not very many shares, about 20% again, down in the 50s, and now is another chance to reload that position if you wanted it back up here, 96, 97. So let's watch out, man. Still 9 minutes to go, but hey, Rivian's bouncing around as expected.
Oh, quickly, just before we move on, you mentioned AMD. I want to quickly come to NVIDIA because AMD was relatively strong a couple of times. NVIDIA, a different story. It's below or just barely below its post-split bottoms, this 180 price level. And below this price, it's obviously under a tremendous amount of pressure. But this is what we looked at all week long, holding 180 to 182. Now you're breaking below this. If we make a fresh low here, I'm looking at this 178 and 3/4 or whatever you want to call it down at the bottom. And this is the break I'll take on NVIDIA because the shelf below here gets pretty ugly. It was relatively weak, I think, compared to AMD. And if it pops, it's got to be above 182 to show me enough strength.
Couple more things. Disney down this morning, guys. Bank of America removing it from its #1 list. There's that. There's also Roblox we can pick on a little bit more. JP Morgan halving their price target from $100 to $50 on RBLX. So same old for another one of these.
Yeah, look, it's just, and I want to get to NEO in a quick second, but oops, Roblox is always on the New York, and I always hit NASDAQ because it just doesn't make sense to me. But Roblox, you already broke the shelf at 30 even, and you saw how good that level was before. If you're looking for shorts down here, you're shorting the bottom on just about everything you're going to be watching. So I don't think you want to be, let's take everything because it's all going to work out. If this is like a temp bottom and we fake out, this is a name that has 10% move potential on you. So I'm staying away from it. If there is a pop in the market, though, I've locked away 29 to 30 on Roblox's level. But I want to make sure we get to NEO here. Brendan mentioning a lot of the Chinese names moving to the downside or U.S. listed Chinese names to the downside. NEO's right at this 14 level that, if it's going to break, we haven't actually taken out the March low yet. The March low's down at 13 even, so there's still room for it to get to that price. So 14 break is in play for NIO for me. And then if it pops back up 15 as a bit of relief, we know NEO always has that chance to do that fake out. So breakout trade's a breakout trade. I'm only going to give it about 25 points if it doesn't go right away. otherwise look for that short the pop idea. But there is so much to look at here today that you've got to narrow down your names. That's why I'm trying to focus NEO. Haven't really looked at Tesla too much, but Rivian's going to be in play. Palantir, NVIDIA. Pick your spots here. I do have that BTTX. That's the only small cap, really, that I am involved in shorting off the high of the day. I think Brendan was going to just talk about that.
Yeah, it looks like Brendan's getting ready to rock and roll with BTTX there. Yeah, I agree with you. I haven't even looked at any of the Chinese names today. Probably should, but again, with only 20 seconds. We'll go over the NASDAQ imbalances when we get back from Brendo because there's only 20 seconds until those come out. But man, this is going to be an exciting day. What's up, Brendo?
Yeah, not much in the way of small caps moving around this morning. This was one of the few, though. BTTX, if you close your eyes and look hard enough, anyways, close your eyes and look hard enough. Squint, maybe. 275, a bit of a pivot on the daily chart above that. Not much until $4. 8 million shares on the float on this one, so it is a teeny tiny little one moving on earnings. So 275 was where it stalled out initially this morning. We'll see if it takes that out, probably 4 above that, guys.
Okay.
Someone wants to buy it back.
Yeah, so we're having a little bit of a problem here because Rivian just ripped to the upside, like really ripped. Now you got $25 here for Rivian. Rivian came out a buy. So, I mean, what? So that's a surprise. So I think with Rivian coming out to buy here, we got to say no thank you to that and short more into that play. So we just shorted some 75s up top there. This is going to get real nasty real quick for me unless this name starts to come back to the downside. So damn it. Hopefully we're not wrong on this, but right now Rivian did not come out the way we thought. I was expecting for us to come back here and me be like, hey, all right, Rivian just tanked. Because of the imbalance. But yeah, we'll see.
In fairness, if you put a heavy short on and you think there's going to be sellers, you could be saying to yourself, overnight or over the weekend, big players could be putting it into that imbalance to pop it up. I said I hadn't talked about Tesla. Didn't mean I was going to ignore Tesla. But here's the thing with Tesla. Double bottom on the 15 at 820 here because it hasn't taken out that previous low. And then you've got 840 as your significant bottom end of the channel. So sitting at 830, I don't think there's anything to do with that price. It gets above 40 and I think we can squeeze. And double bottom bounce on a Monday like this, that is not a level I want to short. I want to be sitting sort of short in the middle. I think you're basically giving up that $10 and then you're running right into that support. So watch out for Tesla at that 820, significant level. I mentioned the NIO there, $14 being a very, very key price. But I wanted to have a quick look at Ford on that move because in the back of my mind, I want to be looking at this name and still not budging. This is not reacting at all to Rivian, so a little bit of a surprise to me. I kind of thought that would be the case, but it seems like Rivian is going to be on its own. If Ford is dumping shares, or at least considering selling shares, I would have thought that if this stock spiked, you'd catch at least a little bit of a bid in Ford. Nothing at all. That was a bit surprising.
Yeah, this is a bit surprising of a move here. I mean, I've lost a lot of money trading Rivian when it's blown up against me as well. So, I mean, I don't want to say lost a lot of money, but it does have the opportunity to go. That's why we're looking at 26. I'm going to average in more off open if it continues to go upside. So, hey, we'll see. Meta Platform's coming out talking about NFTs right now. That's our friend Zuckerberg talking about putting NFTs on Instagram and stuff. I don't know. Well, I don't really care about that. We'll see where that goes. But 195 is the level that I was looking at. And it's kind of this bottom right there. So I found it on the 20-minute, why we liked it. It goes back to the 28th of April right there, that 95 bottom for Meta. So, you know, if that continues to make a move downside today, it's not right now. I mean, it's down 2%, I mean, with the market. But Meta right there coming into play again on that 195. So that was a level of interest for me there. Microsoft, look, maybe the market rips here. I mean, we have an offer of Microsoft around that 272, so we're going to see about that. We have a bid for AMD down lower near 90. I don't know if that's going to come into play, but that's going to be there as well. And then Apple, I don't have anything yet for Apple, waiting around that 156 because again, I don't want to be short everything and then short the king, especially if the market starts to rip. So we'll take a bath on the Rivian if it rips, and then we would lose on Microsoft if Microsoft goes back up. I just feel like Microsoft wants to take have another look at this 272, and if it comes through, then we'll be short around 271.50 or so, and then we'll have to deal with it at that point. But Rivian is gone. Like, what the hell? Up to 25 right now.
It's trying to squeeze.
Oh my God!
It's trying to squeeze
with only a minute. I don't know if it's trying to squeeze or it is squeezing. We were down at one point there 20-something%. Now you're only down 12 with the move coming back upside right now. So yeah, watch out, man. We said that this move might not be done going up or down. So we've already identified this 26. That's going to be a level that I'm just going to have to say, get out of it, because I have rules, right? I'm not going to lose more than 25% of my daily net goals on one particular trade. Sometimes it gets out of hand and I can lose it, but on this one, I see 26, so I'm going to have to get out if it takes 26, and hopefully we'll be able to punch short again, but only 20 seconds now, guys.
Yeah, only 20 seconds to go here. Watch out. Tesla actually making a run at that 840 as we speak, so that's coming pretty quickly. I knew I didn't want to sit in that short, that's for sure, but Miss V is on the bell to start this week. It's going to be a wild one, so buckle up, everybody. Let's get locked and loaded and ready. I'm going to try Palantir off of $8 if it comes. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Ring it. It's a huge order on Palantir. You see?
Yeah, 820 on Palantir. I think I would like to take if that breaks.
Sorry, I was just saying I saw a big bid on Palantir at 780, at least in the book. Anyways, there's a bit of an attempt here to hold up 25 on Rivian. Now I want to be patient, because if you're looking to add to a position like this, it is squeezing on you. 10% short interest. Keep that in mind. It's a very, very crowded trade here. So if it's going to slow down, you want to make sure you're getting a good price. Tesla got right to that 840 level, and looks like. Yeah, did we just touch 840 and then try to reverse off of it? This could be a jailbreak situation if we can hold above that 840. I mean, the market's trying to get back into the upside here. And Tesla, big attempt there at that 840. Even NIO trying to take out the top.
Okay, so we are invested now into this Rivian short. We just took some more short there at 50. There it is. Okay, come on, let's go, baby. Let's get back down to the downside here. Come on, Rivian. You want to sell those 20 million shares or something. Here it comes. Yeah, we're back into the money. So there it is, Rivian. Yeah, buddy. We talked about this name, man, and that we wanted to get some out if it did come back in. So there it is. Now the move's coming back down to the downside.
Softy just hit me?
We're not going to try to count our chickens here before they hatch, but there's Softy. We are now into that trade now for Microsoft. Yeah, man, Microsoft is ripping, as you can see. The market is ripping right now. We talked about a possible move back up. Here we go. We are short Softy. This one might not work, man. We're going to give it to that 272.50 and change, but right now we're short Microsoft right now, 271.80, but the market is ripping.
Yeah, that was a crazy one, because I think I misplaced my stop, because I got in and got out of it very, very quick there. So I'm just going to jump back into the Softy. That didn't make any sense, because I saw Tesla just reverse hard off of 840 there, guys. It just made a nice little wick top there. So this could be one of those crazy little reverse type of plays on the market. Watch out for NIO. That's coming back down in. I'm just going to try to get into pounds here. I wanted it off the $8 break. I missed the low of the day break. I might have to take some 775s or something in that range just to get a little bit of piece of that party. But that was a wick top on Tesla, and looking like we had a little bit of a fake out there. Also just got into, there we go, just got into Palantir for the first time at 770.
Okay, yeah, I was waiting for that 780. There was a big level there at 80, I believe it was, right? And that's gone now, but there was some levels there at 80. So I like that trade for Palantir. Let's see if it can take it back up. You do have that 780 bottom there, 790 bottom that we're willing to take as well. So let's see if the market wants to give us that trade back up. Microsoft right now, Tank City, back down to the
Tesla's
downside.
Dying.
Yes, sir.
Tesla's
Bang
dying.
on that short. We gave you Microsoft, baby. We gave it to you. Let's go. Big day over here, Brendo.
Vinco Ventures, guys, we talked about a bit on Friday. A little tiny one starting to go once again on decent volume. It's worth mentioning. Huge print, BBIG, worth a note.
Yeah, and here comes Rivian starting to head back into the downside as well. You're seeing that get back to that 24.50 area. Softy falling like an absolute brick. That BTX small cap, that's also going, but it is Tesla that I'm just kicking myself over. 840, 840, 840. That's your wick top if I've ever seen it. This market is starting to absolutely reverse here. So, yeah, I guess it's going to be the other way here today.
See ya. That's what we're talking about. Let's go. The double gun salute is out right now. Softy to the downside, $2 in the money right now for Microsoft, given to you live here at Trader TV. So there it is, a nice little trade there for Softy, man. $1.50 in the money. Boom goes the dynamite on that trade, guys. almost nothing better we could do on that. That gave us exactly what we wanted. Coming back in now, softy to the downside. I mean, we're out already of 2/3 of that trade. When that just broke through that 270.50 level right there, bang, bang, we cashed out a lot of right there on that trade. And by the way, adios, Rivian right now. Hopefully that can continue to go to the downside. Man, today is a good day for me. 2 for 2. Palantir, the loser, though, on the day. We'll watch out for that. But the amount of money that we lost on Palantir compared to what we're doing right now is quite nice. AMD to the downside here continues to go. I don't know, though. We're going to wait for 90 on that one. I got to try to be as patient as I can. I'm now going to hold this softy trade all day just to see what it does. We've already cashed it out. If it rips back up, it's going to look foolish. But let's just see. We have a good short on for Microsoft. I don't have any more bids. I don't have anything like that sitting here. So let's wait to see where that one goes. I know Neil got into Palantir. Where is it? Still same level.
It's still right there.
Yeah, so I like this trade. I've already talked about that, especially if we can break above some of these levels of 80. So Palantir getting beat down today, but I still feel like I like it. I'm not in it, but
dude, these spreads,
I feel like I like it through 780, guys.
The spreads on some of these stocks I'm looking at here, like I just finally tried to get into Nvidia here and was trying to pick up shares at this 181, 181.50, and I'm looking at it, I'm like, it's coming to that price on the chart, and I pull up the level 2. And then there's a 25-cent spread. So it's at that price on the offer, but the bid is nowhere close. So things are still having to settle down. I did just tick into Uber, which means it made a bit of a pop. I didn't think this level was going to come in here, guys. But this double bottom here in Uber, that 26 level, which got wiped out and then recovered, we're now into Uber shares as well. So the shorts are all in. As the market tries to make a little of a pop here, remember those outs that you have. I mean, 82 gets taken out on Nvidia. That could be a spicy reversal. We talked about Microsoft. Yep. It can hold above that 82, you could have made wick bottoms here. And the one stock I'm not in is Tesla. And it goes 840 right into 820 and then bounces. So that exact $20 range. It has not broken in either direction. Looks like until it gets out of this channel, I'm not sure what you do with Tesla at all. It's a bit of a trap.
I feel like, oh man, I just missed. I wanted to take that Facebook break, but we missed it. Facebook down up to the upside. I was looking at this break right here of 199 when it went down to 197. Obviously, if the market had fallen, we had our plan there. But we see Facebook today stronger than the market. Look at that huge move up right now for Facebook. So, what's happening right here is Rivian. Did we just reload that short or no? Yeah, no, that's from the earlier time. Okay, so Rivian just coming back up to the upside. Didn't know if we ripped higher there again, but it doesn't look like it. Microsoft has come back in, but again, we're still holding only a third of that trade. So we have a little bit more damage to be done. We will look at CrowdStrike on all of this. But right now, it's time to go crazy with Brendo.
Another low float name, guys. We've talked about this one in the past. Society Past, which is SOPA. Former runner. This thing went all the way to 23 if you go back far enough. Up on earnings today, so they reported better than expected.
Yeah, it was this $3 level that I was looking for that stock. He managed to chew through that 250, obviously, pretty nicely. So looking at that $3, if it can get up there, just got to be patient with it. And there's already so many names to trade, and we have talked about how wild it is off the open in these spreads. Nvidia here, like I said, I just got into it in front of that 182 top. I want to see if I can't get something out in the bottom end of the range. Like, you've got to be able to take profit. When you're getting whipsaw action of $2 or $3 and we haven't broken one way or the other, the market hasn't decided yet. So I want to make sure that I am getting something out and taking some profit inside of this range. Palantir, which I had just said was doing nothing, it really, it was at 775 or so. There was just all kinds of buying. We'll try to ring some registers down here as it finally took out the bottom. So just back and forth for 5 minutes, going sideways before finally starting to fall in. So you really got to be patient, have your levels, know what they are, have your stops, and then if you get in the right direction, try to hold on. We take out 750 in Palantir, start thinking about those quarters, the evens. There's no price levels down here for a lot of these names, and when that's the case, I just try to keep it simple.
Yeah, my bad. I thought you were long Palantir, so that's a good one there.
It was a short through the break.
Okay, good. Yeah, no, that's good. Okay, good. I thought you were long, but that's good. So, all right, so good short there on PLTR. Okay, we are reloaded as the Maple Leafs got reloaded pretty badly there last night, but still 2-2. We're still coming home.
Yeah, 2-2's fine.
Right there, bang, for Microsoft. I have a nice little reload there at 272. Now $1 in the money on Microsoft to the downside here as that's starting to go. And I'm willing to hold all of these like we talked about it. But, oh, yes, and just as I say that, and then my scalper mentality comes in. If we're going to bounce off, there we go. Yes, sir. Bang, right there. Yeah, baby. What do we want to do? Let's just go Ape Nation. Nothing's going upside, though, right now. It doesn't look like. But a nice move down there. And we averaged in again here to Rivian. My net is still fine because the market is bringing Microsoft back in for me here, but Rivian is definitely doing some damage to my net today, as I thought it was a screaming short. And like I said at the beginning of the day, I mentioned to Baxter yesterday when we were talking there, and I said, like, sometimes the opposite happens of what you think. And right now, Rivian is just straight up to the upside. Neo's coming into the downside or upside?
No, Neo's trying to take out the top. This is the third time it's tried to go through 1450 here. So remember 14 even for that breakdown? Neo's trying to go the other way. And if we do a failed break, I would short this top. But I'm short basically, I'm only in shorts right now. So adding one to it, unless it's going to be on an absolute fail break, which it just did, I don't want to stand in front of it. But if we can get that pop and fade idea where it tries to take out the high, doesn't, then you jump into the short. Just sort of standing in front of the brick wall today, I don't think makes a ton of sense when you're already heavily that direction. If it breaks the high at this point, it's sort of an easy out because I know exactly what it means to be wrong. And that's going to simply be if we make a fresh high, that's 1453. So there it is. That'll be my stop on Neo, or just slightly in front of it, obviously.
All right, we got a big win here on Softy, man. $1.40 now in the money. It doesn't look so great on here, but there it is. Now these are the shorts. Here goes Softy trying to come back in. 270. I better put a bit. Ooh, okay, we're already there. Hello. We'll put another. Yes, sir. Bang! One more time on that one. I have no idea what. Oh, this is shredding money. Yeah, right now it's shredding my long-term account, but we are just banking right here as we sit here on this short. Wow, $2 now in the money on the. $2.50 now on the reload here for Softy. Let's just hold this one. Hallelujah, bang to the short side here as Microsoft just continues to go down, and we've got this name. Wow, it is falling as the NASDAQ right now, Brendo.
Everything's falling.
Is, well, hopefully Rivian falls.
Well, not Rivian.
Is Deadsville. I am loaded up into Rivian. Wish I had the same amount of shares in Microsoft as I do in RIVN, but what's up, Brendo?
Yeah, a bit of a reversal there for the market, guys. Netflix, however, was one of the names that was trying to help things back to the upside. Look at this move right out of the gate this morning. Red to green in a hurry for Netflix.
This is crazy. This is what the market's doing. I just got half of the Neo trade out to the short here. Like, it failed that top end break, and the NASDAQ was turning, as you mentioned, the Softy going down, and then boom, it just bounced right back up. Now only 1%. So we are getting a crazy reversal here. And this is the thing. Like, some names have not broken range. And I think that's where you want to put things into, like, it's like a grain of salt, or just be a little bit more calm with it. And if we do break back out to the top, understand how many times there's been these chances to reload to the short. Look at Tesla 840. It tried to break once, failed. Came all the way down, bounced off that 820 support, double bottom on the 15-minute, significant level. It's just tried to break 840 again. I'm not shorting Tesla because I'm short everything else. If we get through 840 one last time or break these highs, it's at 842. It's time to go long Tesla, because if this turns out to be a breakout day, like, the thing that Tesla could do at this bottom, if it tries to go upside and hold, would be just nasty to the shorts.
What's up, Brittany? We did it again. Facebook, man, 201 long out, 201.80 right there. Quick 80 cents there on Facebook. As that's starting to go to the upside, we want if this market's gonna take off upside, man, I'll take Facebook. So there goes Facebook, a nice little bid there for us on that name. Now only 25 cents in the money, but again, like, I'm gonna hold short Microsoft and long Facebook. Doesn't make much sense, my friend. So right now we're gonna watch out for that trade coming in. I do like it. We'll hold a little bit. We're out of a third right there. And like I said, if there's ever stock like a stock like Microsoft, I'll just piece it out because, you know, it's starting to fade out to the bottom. But in a down market, you know, we're willing to hold things. But when we get 80 cents there in a matter of 1 minute or less, you know, I think that this is a scalper's dream, these markets. And I said earlier that this is exactly the kind of market that we like, man. I mean, the volatility's here. If you're a scalper, a day trader, anything like that, this is the kind of the moves that you're wanting. So there it is. Quick ins, quick outs is what I'm all about. If we can get it just slightly above 202, the day's high, then we'll probably take another piece out. But, you know, just like you got to get out fast, you got to get out fast on the downside as well. So if this does wind up breaking, I do have some targets here. 199, which is this little breakthrough of VWAP. There it goes. Yes, sir. Of VWAP and of the 50 period is where we'll get out. But hey, we may not have to get out of anything right now as Facebook's ripping. $1.50 in the money.
And here comes that Rivian 26 level. So we had the turn of 25. It came back down to about 24.20. 24 was giving you 23.20. So if it turns here and it just put a wick high at 25.85, not quite close enough to get the idea. I would expect this bounce to come to the 25.20 range and then make another big test there. Tesla did try. It tried to get through that high of the day. It did not, so another reversal is on. That's going to make me want to trim at least some of these on the pullback. Like I said, 25.20 or so is the place that I expect some of this Rivian to start coming down to. NIO, if this one starts to come back in, I'm looking for these low 14s. It has not broken the range either, so 14.20 still very much in play. The only thing which is breaking out or down out of anything that I'm looking at right now is Palantir. Like, it's still breaking down, and it's at this 750, and it's been a holding over and over again here as it reloads a bit. It's gone to 48. But there's buyers at some of these levels, and that's just the reality. So we're not exactly falling off a cliff here on Palantir, but it has broken the range to the downside. So it feels the most secure to be holding on to this position and not as worried as some of the others, which are just threatening every couple of seconds or so, going up and down and around. But hey, if it hasn't triggered your stop and you're still in at a price that you like, you just got to slow things down and then just work your trade, manage your trade, because overall, nothing here has been too unexpected. Like, you know there'd be whipsaw action at the open on a morning like this. Futures haven't decided a level or a direction they want to go just yet.
Yeah, no, the futures are bouncing around, and we sort of said that, right? I mean, Neil mentioned that it could go up, and he was right on that on the open. And then I feel like the market could be slow, not slow today, but it's got to find its footing, and once it does, then we can work with a little more levels here on a lot of these plays. Okay, Microsoft's come back in. For some reason, we didn't re-short it up there. Rivian, yeah, it's back down. I'm surprised I didn't get short up there. I thought I had some more bids. We did relieve some pressure there. Did you take a 25.80 or anything there?
I tried to get some 80s. I'm hitting I shouldn't hit the congratulations. My bad.
Bitcoin
is right on the 3,200, like a bit of support on my weekly chart, on my 1 week chart. Yeah, that's not good if it breaks. But I was hitting that one because finally 750 broke on Palantir. So if you're in this short, it finally broke the bottom and is really starting to get down here. Yeah. It's such whipsaw action. You can see only short positions are going to be on. Rivian just took out that 25, so going to have to get some more shares out to the downside. But let's just start rigging registers for all of these to that downside trade. Even BTTX just sort of came back in here. The one thing that I will point out that is holding up, at least in this last little move, is, I haven't gotten a single share out of NVIDIA. NVIDIA put a wick high. It's not even anywhere near these bottoms. So as things start to pull back in, I'm always trying to figure out what is not free falling that I'm in here to the short side. Like, they just tried to touch my bid at 179.25 and wouldn't even come close to it on NVIDIA. But yeah, the shorts so far working out rather nicely. Brendo?
One showing strength, guys. Buy on tech out on earnings this morning, 5.5%. Back to the upside. Actually just took out the highs there briefly, came back in. But BNTX, one of few in positive territory.
Did you say BTT? Oh, BNT. Okay, never. BNTX, buy on text there.
Yeah.
Because no, he said that. I was like, BNTTX. I'm in that BNTX in the reversal. But buy on text, always worth watching. And it's got a bit of a double top on it. But yeah. And when you're in 5 or 6 names at the open, I think that's a limit. Like, it's not a limit, but you shouldn't have too many more than that. And to the extent that they're inside of the range, it's probably why I wasn't very aggressive on Tesla. The one thing that I did get out of, and apologies for not always sort of coming back to these, but once you're out of the trade, I mean, Uber, I had to 26, it stopped out at 26. This is the one that I did not hold on to in terms of the short trade, and even it's starting to come back in rather heavily. I know you've already mentioned Microsoft, so I'm not going to double down on that one. It's starting to fall and get ugly. We talked about if this gets below, if it holds below 269, how ugly that looks for the market. NIO rolls over off the high. They tried to spike the top, and if tops don't break this morning, and they hold through the opening rush, that's just a horrible sign. However, it works both ways. We haven't taken out a 14 bottom. We haven't taken out an 820 bottom on Tesla. We haven't taken out that 160, that 179 on NVIDIA. AMD probably is managing to hold out its, not as well, but it's trying to hold a 92. And as long as that happens, you can make money on your shorts, but you've got to be taking profit. There is no way around it. If you're not scaling out of these without us taking these lows, then you're doing yourself a disservice because it's giving you chances to get back in at the top. And that might stop at some point. And when the music stops, you want to be holding, I think right now, the shorts, but that can change in a heartbeat. Brendo?
Two things. Crude oil was up 2.5%, now down 3%. Zillow, guys, big mover as well on the day, back to the upside. Earnings, if you remember last week, if I zoom out here, we're not good, but trying to get back to the upside here for Zillow.
Oh, I just made a keystroke error on BTTX and got out of everything of my short.
We're $3 in the money right now on Microsoft. So, $4 in the money on Microsoft right now to the downside there. So, what's up, Fahad? That's a good little play to the downside right now for Microsoft. Boom, 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 all the way to the downside. But, okay, Rivian, nice cash out on Rivian too. But unfortunately, I have already taken one hit here, small though, on Facebook and back into the long, trying to see if we can hold this 198.50 or so, this bottom. I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, it just ripped up into the money for me. I didn't take it. So, you know, if the market is dead here, so will be Facebook. We're literally that $4 in the money, as my kid says literally all the time. Literally, Dad. But yeah, we are now in the money on Facebook as it just made a move back upside. But my first offer is not until the 30s. I'd like to make at least 30 cents or so on this play to the upside. If we can get it, would be nice, Facebook, because we did lose here. We went long at 199.50, and then we went long again at 199.20, giving us an average price of like 199.35 or so. There it is, yes. And then it dumped out, and we got out of a little bit there when we broke. So we had to take a little bit of profit, but here we go. Right back up to the upside, man. Look at these positions we've got on. $4 money Microsoft, 80 cents now Facebook, and 30 cents here on Rivian, as Rivian's still dancing around. But really, this Facebook trade I need to pay more attention to, because the market, I don't know what we want to do here. And if we break that bottom, we're gone again. So I don't want to lose too much here on Facebook, especially if the market tanks. What's up with Apple?
No, I was just asking if you were in Apple.
No, not yet. I was waiting for 156 on Apple.
So Apple, I was about to say, so Apple got to 155.80, right? So that 156 level, and then like a hard turn and is heading back into the lows. This is what I'm talking about. It's like everything is just going to like that first resistance level and then making a turn. And if we keep doing that and the lows get taken up, which, by the way, this 153 in Apple, this is what it looks like on the daily. If we get through 153, 150 is certainly in play. If the market comes out of this, or the bottom comes out of this market, I'm canceling my Tesla breakout because, you know, I don't want to get trapped in something like that. Like Tesla just, again, made another run at that 840 level. And this is why I like the channel. This is 840 at the top. This is 820 at the bottom. If Tesla tries to break out, I think it has room to run. But I'd much rather join that party on a consolidation or on a pullback or in a dip buy. I don't want to be taking tops or bottoms here. I don't want to be short the low. I don't want to be long the high on just about anything, with one exception, if it'll give it to me. I'm not in Virgin Galactic, which to be all these shorts and not be in Virgin Galactic is kind of hilarious to me. It's hilarious to me anyways, but this crater, well, it tanked off the bottom, only 25 cents, but for a $6 stock, that's where it's at. 630 low on Virgin Galactic. That double bottom, I'll take that one short, but that's about it in terms of shorting the lows.
Yeah, you talked about shorting some names. I want to go over to Rivian, AMD quickly here, as it's just bouncing off. I can't believe I missed that 156, by the way, there for. I mean, this is what...
It was real close.
I mean, no, but yeah, I was going to go short earlier. This is exactly what we talked about here on our sticky note, and I'll call it up to you right here so you can take a quick look. This is it right here. Short into 156. I mean, we talked about that, and we didn't take it, but whatever. There's going to be lots of opportunity to take a lot of different names here. And there's that 156 on Apple, man. It just came right there. Stupid, like sitting here battling Rivian. I mean, whatever. I have $4 in the money on softies, so to sit here and complain about it is kind of weak. But that would have been a great trade. Maybe we're bouncing around a little bit now, but watch out for this market. I'm really nervous because, okay, we got some. Is this Facebook? Okay. Oh, Facebook just went back up. Okay, we just got a great print on Facebook, man. 190. I was like, I'm nervous about this, and I looked over and I was like, making money. Okay, so we just got 199.80 out. We're long at 199.05 on Facebook. So we just took another 90 or 75 cents there on Facebook. So that's a nice move there. So okay, we'll hold it. I thought it was more trouble than that, but it's not. All right, Rivian, blah.
Ooh,
honestly, man, we got Palantir. Yeah, good little look there. Rivian just bounced off 24. We took a decent amount out. I still want to get shorter up here if we retest, which looks like we're going to do.
Yeah, that 26, that feels like it's going to be that good line in the sand for us, or at least area in the sand, I should say. Palantir caught a bid at 735 here. I still have some of the short when we got that little curl at 770 and change. But if we start jailbreaking back to the upside, I know the market hasn't picked a direction, but several names have already moved enough that they could start to go, there is Tesla through that 840. Now it's going to try to hold above there. That's the kind of thing that can turn the markets. Now, I think Palantir is a different story. It's going to move to the beat of its own drum, but the bigger tech names that try to start screwing up here, like the Nvidia short that we got on, maybe the Microsoft, as Tesla starts grinding, the NEO short, still okay for now, but 1450 can come in a hurry. Tesla trying to drive the market up. If they squeeze Tesla, I think it's going to drag everything with it.
All right. Oh, man. Facebook is now $1.80 in the money for Facebook. $1.80 now in the money for FB. Probably worth taking out, man. Here a little, even more than that right now. Let's take out, just came back in near that 201. All right, let's put an offer in the 80s if it does rip back up here. Look, we know we like Facebook, man. We had to dump off a little bit there when we broke through, but we're back in that name. So right now, Facebook trying to go again back upside. I think we got the right names on here. Last week was a very profitable week for us. We're really happy with it. Let's go. There it is. Bang. $2 in the money. Spin it. Right there. We already have a $4 winner on Microsoft, or $3.50 winner on Microsoft, and there's $2 right there, or I guess it was $1.80 right there on Facebook. And I said $2. Well, here's $2 right now as we're trying to take out that 201. So that's going to be a good play. Unfortunately, though, R to the I to the V to the N keeps on going upside right now. So this is trying to break my neck and my bank account right here. It's a good thing that we've destroyed Facebook, Softy. But other than that, man, Rivian or Palantir we took early. Neil just talked about that bounce, which is a good one because look what we're doing right now. We're trying to touch this VWAP again, so that could be a good little short if you wanted to reload Palantir. For me, I'm already I'm dug into this Rivian, and really my day is going to depend a lot on this because we've cashed out a lot on our Facebook, and Microsoft is still $3 in the money. You talked about NEO with a potential trade as well. A lot of 52-week lows today, man. I don't have to talk to you about those, man. The NASDAQ hits 52-week low right now, currently at its 52-week low and breaking lower right now. Amazon, 52-week low, badly. I mean, what else do you want to talk about? Coinbase is at $93. That's a 52-week low. We're already talking about Palantir. Alibaba's approaching that. Peloton, whatever, man. That stock is dead. So let's just go ahead. Yeah.
Quickly, thank you guys for pointing this out. Intel and Micron are really strong. So it looks like there's a bounce happening, but it's stronger in the quote-unquote value part of the, I guess, semi-market there. So Micron and Intel, that's probably why they're going to go. That makes the Nvidia short okay. If they start to turn around, that would be an add point and something, a place to add in Nvidia, because if it looks like it's just the value names, the more expensive ones could still be a valid short. And maybe I got a good keystroke error on that BTTX, but it was still a keystroke error. I didn't mean to get out, and I don't care. Like, that just looks good, but I would still be in this short. Which tends to tell me if it comes back up and curls at that high of the day, I do want to get back into it. Softy is still falling for this market.
Though, buddy.
I'm telling you, man. But if Softy doesn't get a bounce, I don't see how. Like, you're not going to have Micron and Intel carry the market back to green. That's not enough.
Wow. We're not tired yet. We're not even close tired. We're really energized, man. It's been a big weekend. A really happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there, of course. It was a fantastic one for us. Baxter. I know I've said his name about 100 times today, but I went out with the kids on Saturday and got nice Mother's Day gift and some food, and we got salmon steaks.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, with some little potatoes there, the little ones, the round tri-colored.
You do like the mustard on?
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So Baxter, he was like, move over, I'm cooking. Because I thought the kids were going to cook with Baxter, but he wound up doing it himself. He threw down some honey. He had some Dijon in there.
Dijon, yeah.
Everything, kosher salt, sea salts, everything. Shout out to Baxter throwing down for Mother's Day, and it was a good one. And we even, mentioned about how nice that was to have somebody else cooking, because normally it would be me doing that. So thanks to Baxter for that one. Okay, and hopefully everyone else had a fantastic Mother's Day. We had. My daughter crushed it. She got a silver in her gymnastics. We couldn't be happier with her performance, and her face was amazing. I can get emotional, so maybe I should stop talking about it. I saw my parents as well. Were you able to see your mother?
Well, okay. Well, I didn't, because they're visiting my brother in
okay.
Halifax,
Well,
which was good. We did a video call.
Yeah.
Which of course, my
she
mom
got the other Roberts.
She wanted to see my daughter, and that's what it was all about.
Yeah,
but,
exactly.
Yeah, it was a fantastic.
Isn't that funny? Like, the grandparents don't even care to see us anymore.
It doesn't matter.
Care.
And you know what? It's the happiest feeling in the world.
Yeah, it's great.
Like,
yeah.
I don't. It's just like I
You know
love
what
it.
I gave my mother? Go ahead.
No. I was just saying, there is absolutely nothing better than seeing that much happiness on your parents' face, looking at your child. It's just you want to sit back and observe it. So anyways, now I'm going to get emotional about it, Sean. So let's not talk about it anymore.
Yeah. No, I'm still going to talk about it. So I gave my mother for Mother's Day. It was a good idea by us and the kids. We gave them certificates to take our kids out. So it was like, here's one gift certificate for my kids to sleep over at your house. Here's another gift certificate for you, no money's involved, for you to take the kids to the movies. I didn't include movie passes. It's just, here you go, you can now take my kids out. And they're like, this is perfect. So I was like, okay. So that's what we did. So I went there and then also got her a nice gift as well. But they did like that. So yeah, it's amazing how much grandkids mean to grandparents. And I can't wait for myself. Not soon enough, Baxter.
Easy
Hopefully in a long time I become a grandfather. But yeah, wow, by the way, Rivian, before we go here, Neil, let's just talk about that quick time. Rivian is... Everything fell, but the thing about Rivian is it's at these levels, again, that we've bounced off. So I've just gotten out a little bit more. We reloaded at 25.40. I think Rivian's going to be a monster trade for me today, so I don't really want to get out anymore of this trade. So let's just see if Rivian can come back to these levels that it's held before at 24.40. So that's what we're going to look at here for RIVN. Hopefully it comes back down into the downside. Microsoft, this could be easily just the trade of the day because we gave it to you. This is now $4 in the money, man, off of a double reload. So it's double barrel action right now, as unfortunately the market trying to make lows, and we'll flush it down the toilet, but your boy's still in a great mood here as we have a couple decent positions on. Before we make Brendan stand any longer, did you get that chair fixed, by the way, Brendan? He's over there at the big board. A lot of red.
Did it break?
Over there. I don't know if it broke. You can give us a little update right now.
Apparently it did not break. Apparently I ate too much on the weekend or something. Anyways, here we go. As we know, very, very red, guys. It is the NASDAQ leading the way here. 2.18, 2.08 for the composite and the 100. It's not good. Right across the board. Yeah, right back to day lows. The Russell, all of them solidly lower. You know the story, 1.75. 1.2 for the Dow. Quickly, a couple things we were talking about in the pre-market. Meta, we had big tech on watch. Did test that level from the end of the day on Friday. Look at this. Right back to day lows as we speak here for FB. XOM, what a move these oil stocks put in right out of the gate this morning. This is 90. We're at 87 right now on XOM as oil went 2.5 to the upside, 3+ to the downside. Guys, back to you.
What's up?
What the?
Microsoft right now, 450 in the money. What's up, Neil? What are you doing?
Oh, no. Oh, I know what happened. Oh, my goodness. I was using a different stop on Neo. So I was using the edge stop. So that one actually was blocking me from going short when 14 broke. Maybe a good idea. But essentially, I just took the 14 short. We haven't broken the range on NIO just yet, but this is a short until it's not type situation.
Go over to Rivian,
that 14 was almost too big. Rivian's now at 2.
The reason why I say that, I think there's a pretty big iceberg here at 50. So I just took a little.
Bid?
Yeah, it's not breaking it.
Oh,
so
you're right.
Just watch out here. I'm going to put. Oh.
Well,
thanks, Neil. All you had to do was go over there. That's good. No, thanks. That's good. I got out some too, so that's okay.
That's hilarious.
But that's the thing that we're going to do here, man, all the time. Like Neil and I, we're going to try to like hook each other up with some of these plays, right? So I thought Rivian there was holding that level. It looks like it says hold my beer and doesn't want to hold that level. So right there, we're going to have just a quick look at that. Rivian right now, a nice little move to the downside, as I thought. And my bad if you didn't want to get out there, but I got out a little bit more shares, and now it just came right back into that level that we talked about. So we got out more there at 30. So it's making my day literally right now RIVN. So far so good, man. Couldn't, like I said, it's been a big day. Thanks for joining us. We're super happy with the way this trade has worked out for us so far. We're $4.50 in the money on Microsoft, and now we're 80 cents in the money on Rivian, and just loving life. We're back to positive on this name. It was a while for us to get here, but there it is, man. See? So that 50, I don't know, like, not to say that there was an iceberg because it broke, but there are people buying Rivian in these levels, so be very, very, I still think it's falling.
They're short covering, that's the thing.
Yeah, I still think it's falling. I mean, I still have, honestly, half of the position that we've trying to hold. So hopefully trying to goes into a more active action, and we will hold this for a lower move, man. I mean, now, honestly, I mean, the market fell, which is why I'm like thinking they're stacking Rivian. It's Stack City right there. I don't know if you guys saw that. Someone tried to, they just pushed this thing down. Wow, I can't believe people are doing this on Rivian today. There was just layered orders there, a few levels. It went down to 50 and stopped. So I'm wondering if 50 is kind of an indicator there. I'm gonna put another bid at 57, see if we get another piece out. But we've had a really successful day today, so let's just keep this party going. If we can get AMD down to 90, I think that's a level that I like, but that's not happening quite yet.
So it's every time I say an uh-oh, it's really more about the market, or a sign that the market is trying to make a turn downside, because I don't think we're holding this range forever. We're now holding below this 14, at least attempting to on NEO, down that 6%. Microsoft, which I want to pull up these, I want to try to keep it on the 15s a little bit more often here. Yeah, we got some at 270s, but if Softy gets through this 267 bottom, that's another one. This little pre-market low, there's room down to 260. That gets really, really dicey. The other thing that I thought was going to maybe bring the market up was Tesla trying to test back above that 840 level. Now when I zoom, you can kind of see like it's got a wick top. So you have all these wick tops where you made these huge moves down and everyone's like, oh, panic, panic, panic. If this turns into a false breakout and we get through the lows, this is where you want to hold onto your shorts. And I keep saying all the shorts are still valid. Like almost everything that I'm looking at that had a resistance level on it still has the resistance level on it. And that's why we're sitting in basically every single short that we had from the morning, with the exception of Uber, because why one of the companies that I actually was joking about how bad of an IPO Uber was just from a total money standpoint, not the stock price. And then that's the first short that I gave up this morning. The only one that I got in and got out of and never got back into was a one and done. NEO just got to 1390, so we're going to continue to try to ring the register on that one. We'll hit Superman action. I'm kind of curious to see how Ms. V is trading, or anybody else for that matter, and some of the names that maybe we aren't looking at. But Tesla, right back to that 830. We talked about the false break. Double bottom on Tesla. If 820 goes, it's very similar to that Microsoft low at 267, where it could take the market with it. But for now, it hasn't been that bad. And you're right, Alan Atkins. Ford is, like, I keep looking back at Ford on my quote board, and like Ford just took out the 14 high. So, I mean, I kind of thought that this would have a little bit more action related to the Rivian side of the trade if they're realizing losses, but not really. Some relative strength in Ford. I'm going to guess GM as well, and I'm thinking it's probably just value names are faring better this morning across the board, and then the growth names are kind of getting trashed, and that's why you're seeing the whipsaw part of the market. And if the value names pull back, then that's all you got left, and we're pretty much screwed.
Okay, yeah, no, I agree with all that stuff, man. I mean, if this market can't hold any of these current levels, watch out, because it's trying to do a good job right now. And I sort of did call this, man. I mean, I said that we could have a pretty inside day, like, this 2 to 4% type of thing, but that doesn't mean that we can't start to pop a hell of a lot higher or lower from these levels. So we're just going to try to play off what we've been doing here, and that is just try to play some key levels. And right now, this 199.50 on Facebook, so we're short again right now, Facebook, 199 flat. So if it takes out 199.50, then we'll get out, and I will try to test a long. I still feel like I want to get Facebook long. It's not long right now. It's just, if this market goes, it's just a name that I want to be in case that does happen. Right now, Rivian's trying to go. Microsoft, I know Neil has this trade as well. We're $5 in the money. Sorry, $4.50 in the money on Microsoft right now. And Facebook's trying to battle, man. This is what I mean. You see how strong it is? The NASDAQ's actually still going down right now. And Facebook is like, nah, man, we're down with holding some of these highs right now. Like, not highs, we're near the lows of it, but it didn't, like that 198, I don't know, do we get back down there? Like, I don't mind holding this in case, because like if it does give up, it has a lot to fall back in, but we are trying to not count our chickens here on this name. I'm willing to go long if it breaks 199.50, but look at Rivian, my friend, as that is right. Yeah, buddy. Rivian right now, Cash City on this one. We'll get out some more 40s if we can here on Rivian, as it's right back to that level that we marked down as an area of concern, right into here, 24.40. I said I'd love to hold this, but did I just get out there? No, I did not. I can't believe I'm sitting here on one of these. There we go. Edge X there. And if you're not getting filled on a gateway, maybe you switch to another one. I mean, when levels are blasting, I was just going to say, when levels are blasting on Rivian, doesn't really matter. But on some other stocks, maybe like a Palantir or something that's a little slower, sometimes it does matter. I'm trying to get like maximum rebates, which is crazy. But there it is, man. We are net high up today, guys. Good day so far.
Yeah, NEO just got to 1375. So everything's coming back down. By the way, Netflix, which was strong, It went green on the session. That just turned back red. So some of the names that were strong are looking weak. This is, I hate to say it, but it's, we said it before. It's a hold on to your short type of situation. Palantir, which was showing signs of catching a bid, that's rolling back over to that low of 730, down 22%, man. If we could see a quarter down, and that would be nuts. I mean, $7 the next obvious level. Well, $7.25 and $7 the next obvious level. I'm going to get a bid in front of that 7.25 on Palantir because still want to be taking profits. Softy looks like it's going to take out that low, and Tesla, that 820 coming into play. One more time here is 820 on the 15-minute. That's where you really want to look at it here. That 820 level, it did break in the pre-market. Got to 819, but really that level, if it goes, is just like that Softy. We're running out of running out of strings to pull in this market for it not to break the low of the day, but we're not there yet.
Man, are you not entertained? Wow, some of these plays, man. We just took Facebook right there as well. We were short 199 flat. We just got a 198.60 bid there, and hopefully lower coming right now. Microsoft is really the missed opportunity for me. Well, we got it, but should still be in more shares. And then actually, when I said missed opportunity, what I meant to say was Apple there, because that 156 we don't have a trade on. As I looked, though, Microsoft now $6 in the money. And again, excuse me there. If you guys are interested, we gave these levels, 156, Microsoft 272 right there, right? So, these are the levels that we're short. At least we're short Softy 272. We should be short Apple up there, but we're not. We talked about Rivian short, man, 25. We can't do any better than that. I mean, we could have. You could have got 25.50, which we did. I mean, our average price is 25.60. We don't have that ultimate reload there, but we did reload the second time. And I'm just a matter of time now. Like, when this market's tanking down 2.5%, do you really think people are going to be like, oh, it's time to buy up Rivian? Like, I want to hold this name. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But right now, Facebook's accelerating, Microsoft's accelerating, Rivian's $1 in the money.
Lower day on NVIDIA.
And lower the day on NVIDIA. Ooh, thanks for that, because that reminds me, I got to pull my AMD bid. Yeah, I'm going to pull it anyway. Well, you know what? My AMD bid's low enough, man. It's in the 90 quarters. So if that comes through there, we'll watch out for AMD. But that was another level there, $94, that you could have picked out as well. We didn't, but that was another one. What's up, Brendo?
Hey guys, great news. We need just 4,000 more subscribers to become 300,000 subscribers community. So team, please make sure you're a subscriber of Trader TV Live. And please like this video. 7,000 people are watching us right now. Welcome everyone. And please help us get 2,000 likes by the end of the morning show. Back to you guys.
What is retracing? Oh, it's Rivian.
Rivian's pulling back. So look, this is, NVIDIA just took out the low of the day. And I'm watching, and look, if you guys aren't enjoying it, then active trading isn't for you. This is a crazy market, and it's giving you these levels here. Like, we get a bounce off 820 in Tesla, and then I pop over and look at Rivian, and it not all the way to 28. That's just a dark pool wick, but it bounces off of its low as well. So you're sort of watching these things go lockstep. I got the ES and the NASDAQ trying to bounce off of their lows, and we should also be watching, like, volatility's been actually a little bit weird here. You haven't seen as crazy moves in UVXY as we're accustomed to, but it's also barcoding in its range. So, and we don't get a break one way or the other. You want to play that periphery, but I'm still holding on to my shorts. Brendo?
We saw a lot of strength in banks last week, guys, off the interest rate hike from the Fed. Not the case this morning, though. We tried to go a couple of times on, I was just watching JP Morgan here, tried to go back to day highs, couldn't, failed hard twice there, back to the downside as well, even for the banks.
Okay, all is well. I was like watching my net there and I was like, what is going on? Like, all of a sudden I was lost like half my day basically there. But it's okay. It just came right back and now we're up more than we were before. And part of the reason there was, I'm in Facebook short, and that was just in the money for me, $1. And then it ripped up not against me, but ripped up right to where we were in. So that was part of my net situation right there. So, and then also, like me and Neil mentioned there, Rivian, I just took some more out. Like, it's hard for me to sit here in the position that I have with the shares and like see it keep bouncing from this 40 level. So we'll take another piece out. I'm still trying to hold on, but now I'm down to like 35% of my position as we were at 50 or so. And then we just took 3 spots out. So, I'm piecing them out. And that's the best that I can do right now. It's like I said, man, dollar cost averaging. Oh man, don't tell me right here that Apple's heading to the lows. What's up, viewers, guys, right now? Because we should have that Apple. See? I mean, the Rivian goes to 30 and then stops again. So, yeah, you're with us. You're on the right show if you're looking for scalping and stuff, because that's exactly what I'm doing here with RIVN. And then Facebook, come on, man, stop doing this to me. It's giving me nightmares. 198.65. I'm just going to put another bid out just to loosen up a little bit here. There goes Rivian. We just reloaded the short as it just ripping up here. Brendo, I guess?
Shopify, guys, another new low here for Shop this morning, down 7 at one point. Huge volume alert came in there at the bottom, though. We're trying to bounce for Shopify.
Yeah, Shopify.
Oh, there's another one, of course. And look, there were so many names that were going to be at key levels, and we know Shopify reported, but that was a stay away for me. Like, it was going to be more liquid names to be playing today. I think that's the key, but yeah, under a lot of pressure. That BTTX, again, tests that high. So at some point, it might break the top. I had that accidental stop out. I get it. Yeah, I got right back in off of the high of the day. I just reloaded another time. But if it can't get past this 240, this is looking pretty strong. And forget about the fact that the market is heading down when you're trading something like this, or that the market looks weak. It doesn't really matter to something like a small cap like this BTTX. It's going to move off of just pure momentum. And sometimes when the market is really weak, the only game in town can be some of these small cap movers. Tesla is continuing that bounce off of 820. It's like the one day that I'm not just sort of sitting in front of support levels on Tesla. And that's the one it's respecting. It's now twice it's bounced off 820, although, unless it gets back above that 830, you'd be forming a heck of a downward channel. It's got a couple of failed breaks on that 820 level that we have to be concerned with. I just reloaded some shares in Rivian myself.
Yeah.
As long as 26 is, if we're below 26, I'm going to be net short this stock. I think that's just the way it is here. But if Tesla breaks out, you got to accept the fact that this could still go to the upside. Like, it's been a lot of selling here in Rivian, but believe me, like, it's a 10% short interest without day traders getting into it today.
Oh, yeah, I believe you, yeah. And I'm short as well. I mean, we just tried to take that short again. We did reload into, well, we didn't reload. We went reverse long, like we said there. And I said Facebook was giving me the nerves, man, because they kept on testing some of those lows. Sorry, my eyes are just over here. I'm trying to make sure that we go here. And if we don't go, then we got to get out of this trade here, because Facebook, we just took another piece out there, 80 there? Yeah, so 150 break long, took a piece out there at 80, but now we got to watch this thing very carefully, as no idea where we're going from here on FB. I still like the market, but the market just tested that 50 period and failed at it. So right there, that's the market just tested that 50 period and failed. So no surprise that Facebook does wind up failing. Maybe we're a little too early on this play. So, we're still holding the Microsoft short, which is pretty big. Yeah, there goes Facebook downside now. So I think we got to get out of something here, especially if it does pop back up a little bit. It looks like we might be too early on the longs, but we can just bleed out of this trade. Like, I don't want to get out completely, because this could rip. But again, into this market today, the long, going to be silly losing a lot of money long, right? I feel like. So, okay, Facebook, well, maybe we're not silly after all, as it just went back up to 60 there, but I still am going to empty some of this. This name is so violent, it's like dollars, not pennies. So, yeah, we could easily lose our whole day if this one goes sour. So let's watch out for Facebook. We're just starting to piece some out, but I do want to hold. Now I'm at a half of this 50 break. Let's hold a little bit in case it does what it's trying to do now, and that is rip higher. Rivian is a reload, but yeah, right now we're right back up to those pressure points. That's why we're getting out, man. I mean, how many times did we say that? You don't want to spin the wheel too long here on Rivian.
Yeah, I know, that's
good
right
one,
over the face.
That's a long spin there. Because the more that you dance with this name, the more people are going to be like, hey, man, maybe that's not happening. And I haven't seen a huge sell order come through. It's still 30 million shares, so I am assuming that there is some selling happening here. But right now, Rivian, man, still wants to go to the upside, which doesn't make too much sense to me, but we're in a good spot for reloading, so we can do that.
Yeah, speaking of reloading, I just reloaded NIO. I was like, oh, what just popped up here? Because, you see the P&L move like Sean says sometimes. And NIO went that 13.75 right back into the 14, started curling right when Tesla got to 830, which is the middle of its range, and pulled back in. So if you're going to give me Tesla already pulling back a couple of dollars, and then I can get back in on a 14 short, fair enough. But it's starting to get to that time of day where I want to limit the number of things that I have if we make a run at the highs. So first we were shorting NIO off that high today, 14.50. But then it turned into a short on the 14 break, and it's getting caught at the bottom that I don't want to happen. So I put a relatively tight retrace here. I'll still be in likely Rivian and Microsoft and a few of these other ones, Palantir as well. But NIO especially, if it gets right back above this 14 and Tesla can hold 820, I don't want to get caught trapped in the bottom with this. I feel like Microsoft, because It was relatively weak all last week. So when we got back into this one, you know, we're below that line in the sand that we sort of marked off last week. And this is one where I don't see where the support is till 260. And it's been holding up so ridiculously well that I kind of feel, you know, this is, if the market's going to go, you want to hold on some of the big tech, which have broken that support. It's the same thing with NVIDIA. Like NVIDIA is below the post split bottoms, below this 179 area. So I don't know where the levels are. It's 175. It's psychological at this point. And this is without the market breaking the bottom. This is without volatility even doing anything. We're not even taking out the highs on UVXY, let alone testing last week's. Imagine we were to get a breakout on UVXY right now and take out last week's tops. At the same time, Microsoft and I think maybe Apple breaking through those key levels to the bottom, with NVIDIA breaking its post-split bottom. This is why I feel like holding on to the shorts. There's just more room for it to give you the big wins than sort of gambling at these longs. I get it. If Tesla holds 820, you can go to 900 today. Sure, it could happen, but right now everything is leaning like it wants to continue this fall, and I don't see us in this range for the entire day, even though somehow we've managed to hold it till 10:20 already.
What? Oh wow, that is pretty late there. Yeah, and I'm with Neil on all this because I mean I'm getting out now of the Facebook. I mean it looks like we'll lose on the 199.50 break, possibly not. We're just getting out like in the 30s here, 40s every time it pops back up because the Nasdaq did violate its 50 period there and then came right back down. So you know we don't want to be holding longs, but look at this, man. Facebook's still holding up okay. So I've canceled all my offers. Let's see if this one wants to rip. Microsoft, no real ideas of getting out maybe until we break through 268. So we're going to try to hold on to that short. And then Rivian's been a reload a couple times here, and we just got some out at flat. So, you know, our average price is 15. So we're in the money now 10 cents or 15 cents. Obviously, we want a little bit of a lower play here on Rivian, especially if we get back down into the 40s. That's a level of concern for me. So we'll be getting out there if it does go. But hey, it's Brendan over there. It's getting on to it. So let's go small cap recap. Neil's traded this a little bit today. A little bit. But let's go see what Brendan's been doing on BTTX.
Hey guys, yeah, pretty quiet small cap world. Typical when the overall market is moving. Attention kind of shifts back to the overall market and bigger names, obviously. But BTTX, positive news aftermarket on Friday. You can see made a move up to 230. So that was my initial level. Obviously failed in the pre-market here a couple of times off 230. Very, very tiny float on this. So that was number A, I guess, if you want. As far as directional movement for me, anyways, was just using 230 at the open. Was waiting for a sign of clear buyers to come in. So I wasn't buying this on the way back down. But once the buyers stepped up and started lifting it, gave you a long, I mean, not a huge trade, just 30, 40 cents, depending on where you caught that. It's coming back in right now, but decent long for BTTX. SIDU, I was watching interest in SIDU back to 320. There was a huge wall Friday, 320, doesn't happen, so whatever. SOPA, another one that was moving around here pre-market, 250 support right now. If it gets below that, look for a retest of 250 for SID or SOPA, guys. Society Pass. Back to you.
So this is interesting because like I was just looking at BTTX, and we talk about when the market's down like this, you see relative strength in this small cap name, 27% to the upside. And if you look at the chart, it's like, oh, what's going on here? Heading to the downside, giving a nice consolidation, bouncing off $1 on a dime, and another consolidation for a break up. And that got me thinking, but just a couple of names we were looking at last week. Like I remember we were talking, it was Plurilock, who we were talking about last week. And if you look at the daily here, when you have markets which are pulling back, and you always want to find things that find a level of strength and then look for that kind of catalyst. So yeah, you had the run up to like 85, and now you're double bottoming at the previous low at 25 even, looking very similar to what we're looking at that other small cap name. And then you have this nice little channel. I know they're participating in that Canadian talk coming up on cybersecurity. That's a space which is interesting right now. So if you were to get a nice little break of this 30 area, this is the kind of thing where if you find that there's relative strength in that we've found a nice little base and you have those positive catalysts, it's a nice foundation for a stock to possibly break out. And looking at these small caps, that's a game that I used to be heavily trading when I started out back in like 03, 04. You know, I did a lot of penny stocks. So this one is setting up for a nice little channel for the bottom and potential break. And the fact that it didn't break any lower on a day like today, certainly a good sign on some decent volume, Sean.
Yeah, no, good little look there. And that is what you're looking for, man. Some of those bottoms, and will they hold? Who knows? But yeah, take advantage of good sectors and the right names over there. The market trying to make lows here. Facebook is now in the money, up to 200 there. Can't believe it as the market's making new lows. So we are putting this up here. So remember, I'm going to hold it. I only have 10% of this position, which sucks. Wish we still had the whole thing, as it's for some reason still in the money. But we're going to try to remember this one here for Facebook, as it is definitely strong. If this one falls all the way down, I'm holding this on purpose. So sometimes we do that. I do that anyways. It's very hard to watch out for multiple names as we're looking here, because I'm still into Rivian. Rivian's going to be, net-wise, my number one stock is obviously going to be Microsoft. We're in the money, 550. There's not much else to say about that name. But Rivian, we're in the money now on Rivian. We did have those reloads up here when it just popped. I mean, it's always good when you don't have any orders out above any of your shorts. I mean, obviously right into here, but we've talked about those plays. We averaged in and didn't take one hit yet on Rivian. So hopefully now this comes back into the downside now and we can really cash in. But Facebook is fading like pretty bad again now. I want to get long into this area for Facebook, man. Like 198.50. I know it's going to sound crazy, like to look for some longs as Microsoft $6 in the money, but this is a level that I don't mind here for FB. So let's try it. I saw how strong this name is when it wants to go. We'll use this 197 as a bottom. So that's what we're going to do. If this comes into 198.50, if I'm going to go long now, especially now with the market still at lows, like I need to get a banger price to do anything long. So if Facebook comes to 198.50, that's what we're going to be. Thanks again for watching, man. Hit the like button. A lot of viewers on here. Hit the share button. I've already made 130
How many?
Gotten 130 fills.
This is, I shouldn't be laughing. It's just that usually Sean will always have more executions than me. That's 99 times out of 100. I got 131. Although I did accidentally get in and out of BTTX, so there's a few artificial ones there. But
yeah, but remember, if you look, you'll see what I'm talking about on that one. So all right, a nice little move to the downside. Here goes Rivian. Yep.
Tesla just broke the low. Tesla just broke 820 to the downside. It's trying to go, but that's one of those key lines in the sand that we didn't want to see happen if you want to be bullish on the market. It just broke that 820.
And the market just broke the day's low. So the open session low. We still have the market here near the bottoms for the pre-market right now. So we're testing those as well. And that's the thing, man. I mean, we just said it. Like, why did we get out of our Facebook? Because it didn't go. And we noticed the market, and we don't want to be in any of these longs. So there it is. Yeah, Palantir is breaking hearts, man. There's no doubt about that one, as that's down to 740. Trying to find a bottom, though. I mean, we talked about the reload there on the short. That would have been great. I'm not shorting Palantir here. I'm actually waiting for it to rip up. So I might be waiting all day for that and may not happen. So right here, we're going to watch out for that Palantir. Our net is exploding to the upside right now because guess what just happened, man? Rivian just came all the way back down. And look where I was sitting there in the 60s, right at VWAP again. Hopefully it can come back down to this 24.30. But now the market trying to still push lower here. The only, again, frustrating stock of the day. Don't really have one other than Apple missing because we talked about that level that we really wanted. But right now, that's not coming in either. So, oh man, this market is just sick. As I look at my board, like everything is down today. I mean, here's my sort of watch list that I look at here. Gilead upside, Walmart upside, Under Armour that's already down 40% or whatever from its report is up. Other than that, we'll flip the changing around here.
Wayfair?
Palantir 22%, HUD 8 10% obviously, Square 9%, Beyond Meat 9%, DraftKings, Clover, TrueLeave, Neo downside, Roblox 50. These are all 52-week lows, by the way. Peloton, Twilio, ACB, forget about it. SoFi back down to $6. So anyways, I mean, this is just nasty here today. Wow. I mean, you're back at investable levels. I keep saying that, but dollar cost averaging, if you do it too early and you run out of money, then it just becomes a buy. So we'll watch out for all these names, man. I still want to get Facebook long. Microsoft is at the day's low. I couldn't be happier with these trades. This is all about the sticky note right there. So at me for sticky note if you like it. At Trader TV, Sean Miss V can put the link in the chat one more time there because we hit it out of the park with some of these shorts, guys.
Wow, I wish I had looked at this stock today. Look at the bottom on Moderna. right now on it, look at 131. This is a double bottom from Friday. Holds up, consolidation break, and Moderna. If we were looking for the strongest stock that's not a small cap, it's mRNA right now. And so if there's any kind of a pullback and you're looking to buy a dip in something, it might have to be that. We mentioned Tesla breaking that 820. While this is going on, UVXY trying to make a run at the high. Remember we said if we take out the floor on a couple of these names and volatility goes through the roof, you just want to hold on to your shorts. And that's what we're attempting to do here. And it really hasn't changed. Like, sure, taking some profit. I did get some Rivian out. I'm actually going to get back on the bid here on NIO because I should have taken some profit already below this 1385. But that's starting to roll over from that 14 level again. Softy, we already talked about, is breaking the bottoms. NVIDIA, I don't know where the bottom is going to be. It's now at that 175 mark that we talked about. And I mean, it's one of these things where we're at the low on the NASDAQ here, and I'm going to get on the bid in NVIDIA, and I'll show you why. Microsoft I'll hold on to. We have 5 or 6 shorts on, but you're right at these bottoms on the NASDAQ. If we bounce from here, and I'm not willing to take 175 out on NVIDIA for like $6, then I don't know where I want to take it. Softy I'll hold on to because I feel like a more significant level has broken on Microsoft than has broken on NVIDIA.
Yeah.
That's the only reason to hold on to Softy and get out of NVIDIA. And I've got NEO still. I've got Palantir, Rivian. BTTX somehow is still working, actually. So even that strong small cap name, yeah, that's continuing to roll down here towards this 2.25. Now it couldn't break 2.25. So remember, we always talk about this with these small cap names. If they try to break out the high, failed break 1, failed break 2, shorts working, but never take out first support, which is 225, and holds this all afternoon or at least all lunchtime, watch out for that consolidation break to the upside. There's not many longs setting up. And right now BTTX is a short, but that's a long setup if we can hold 225. It gives you an obvious out. It gives you $2 if you want to give it more of a stop. So I'll have this one on the radar for a long trade because, quite frankly, I can't find another one.
Yeah, you don't need long trades, to be honest with you. I was looking at, quickly, we'll go to Brandon in a second. I was looking at Intel when it broke this 44, but we've just been like offering the whole way and haven't been able to get filled. But Intel right now looking sick as well, breaking back down below 44. We are getting close to getting into Facebook, down here at 198 and change, trying to wait for this 197 to break. But right now we go back over to Brendan as Rivian's downside.
Just working my way through a really interesting article, guys, in Bloomberg today on retail flow and retail investing this year compared to what happened over the pandemic. And as far as, giving back all basically of the gains that we got in the pandemic from some of the retail army. If you scroll down here, they're talking about flows in and outflows from the retail side of things, 14 billion in stocks. That's the lowest. That's last month. So retail accounted for 14 billion in stocks last month. It's the lowest since late 2020. So retail even starting to sour. As far as this market is concerned. Anyone interested, I'll get Miss V to throw that in the chat and you can have a read. But it's also why you need to be right here, guys, every single day. Join us on a professional trading floor. We'll give you insight into how to approach this market because, yeah, it's been a difficult year, to say the least. Let's get a quick check on how things over in Europe are shaping up this morning. Miss V is watching what's going on over there. 1 hour left, Miss V, what's up?
Hey, Brandon, European markets hit 2-month low. Mining and tech stocks are among worst performers, with chip maker Infineon trading in Germany down more than 3% despite lifting its full-year outlook.
Make sure, guys, you hit that sub button. We're 4,000, just 4,000 away from 300,000 subscribers on YouTube. So, again, it's been a rough year for the retail crowd. Make sure you come and join us every single day, guys.
Ooh-wee.
And there was just a huge bid on NVIDIA. If we talked about 175 just now, it was 75,000 shares that I could see, and possibly more than that on the NVIDIA bid at 175. If that manages to hold up, which, with the market testing lows, it probably won't. That could be a little slight bounce, but it is trying to hold these levels. I got out in front of it. Look, I didn't see the bid when I got out of it, but if I had seen that bid, I would have taken it out anyways. So they would have got an extra 30 cents out of it at most. But monster level here in NVIDIA, which is about to get broken, is the market, right on the bid. Oh, my goodness. Oh, this is going to be nasty if it gets taken out there. Yeah, one shot, it just got taken out. So it looks like we're still headed southbound. Fresh lows here on the NASDAQ.
Yeah.
And there it is. UVXY just broke the high.
Yeah, and okay, so we went long and then short on AMD. So if you blink, you missed it right there. As AMD, and Facebook right now trying to get clapped as well.
Oh my God, Tesla.
Okay, go ahead. Neil's on Tesla. I mean, I don't have much here. Rivian's to the downside.
Oh, wow, Tesla
so
broke
AMD,
down. So
Facebook.
Tesla is now at 809, so it looks like it broke lower. This is why you got to hold on to your shorts. I mean, I was going to take some out of Rivian in front of 24 and a quarter. I'm going to let that ride. I was going to take more shares out of NIO at 1375. I'm also going to let that ride a little bit further as Tesla tests 800. Now, if Tesla bounces off 800 here, that would be a place to maybe get some of the EV shorts out. I'm watching Palantir, not nearly as weak as it was before. There are a few stocks that are looking like they're slowing up on the short, while we're getting acceleration in some of the bigger names. So maybe it's like the worst of them or the weakest of them, the most, I guess, I don't know what the word is for these names, but we'll call them the big growthiest names are slowing down a bit while you're watching some of the really, really big cap names.
You say
accelerate.
growthiest?
Growthiest. I don't have a word for it.
I like that.
It's not a real word.
No,
it really
it's
isn't.
definitely not a real word.
But some of the big cap names are really starting to accelerate to that downside, and you got to watch out for those lows. One that we haven't really talked too much about, that I feel like we should not have ignored. I mean, Peloton, which I can cancel my offer for. I'm obviously not going to get the short pop. It did go through that 15. It is now headed all the way down and just recently took out Friday's low there at 1465. So that just broke a pretty significant level. They report, I think, was it tomorrow or at least this week.
Okay, so like I said, man, this has been a very wild ride this morning, man. 160 fills over here. And I mean, we went long AMD. We talked about going long there. We were able to get a little piece out. And then once it broke 90, we actually went short. So now you're seeing me short into this name, making back what we lost on the long, hopefully. I mean, if this market comes down, we would. And then the problem, so this is my problem right now, is Rivian. Hello, Rivian. Okay, Rivian. I see you, man. We're $1 change in the money now on this short. Finally, Neil, Rivian, hopefully you're still in some of this, as it's coming back down to the downside right now. Rivian, a big, big cash for me here today on RIVN, my second best stock, obviously, as it's trying to break through 24. And maybe this is the hero trade that we need for Rivian here today, back down through. We just took a piece out, man. So we just took a piece out there at 24.05. Now it's going to break lower, hopefully for us, RIVN. Okay, AMD breaking. Facebook, like I said, man, that's relatively strong. If you're going to find a name, it's not really like when I say relatively strong, it's actually down exactly the same as the market. But I'm just noticing the pops on this one. When the market starts to go, these guys start to go as well, nicely to the upside. So I feel like Facebook, we're going to try to respect that level down there. I'm going to get another piece out if I can here on AMD, as it looks like it wants to go back up now too. So let's start to cashing out a little bit more here of AMD. Maybe it's back in, I don't know, because we do have Facebook long. So if the market does rip, I don't want to be sitting here with AMD and then have to judge my Facebook against it. So we'll cash out a little bit more here on AMD, but for right now, we're 30 cents in the money on that name, and we're flat. Well, we're still out of the money on Facebook, but whatever. 15 cents to me on this name is pretty much flat. So we're battling, baby. $6.50 in the money on Softy, $1 in the money on Rivian. Your boy is here like throwing punches, counter punches at this market, and so far so good there. There's another AMD take as it breaks back down below 50, so maybe we don't have to worry too much about it, but we're counter punching, man, not like Canelo. Wow, that guy looked wiped.
Well, I mean,
that guy destroyed him. That was embarrassing. But
look, every boxer has a shelf life of greatness. I think that's what it is. Father Time is undefeated. Palantir 750 is not undefeated. However, it's putting up a monster battle right now. It's trying to get off these bottoms. As the market was making fresh lows just now, Palantir was rounding out from this 730 bottom, getting right back up to 750, and they were just reloading and reloading that offer over and over again. It was getting hit legitimately. But if we don't take out the bottom here, on another retest, as the market makes a fresh low, and we do not take out the bottom on Palantir, this could be a reversal through this 750 price. We're not at that point yet that I think any of these shorts are invalidated. But some of these, everything else I'm looking at is just so much weaker. And for someone to be sitting there in a Palantir offer like that, it holds a low. If it holds a low again, I think it'll be fine. NIO, the next out is going to be 1350 if you can't figure that one out, because it was 1450, it was 14, then 1375 was a recent low, 1350. And if it gets to 13 even on NIO, let's not forget, NIO has not gotten to the March bottom. So if this market takes us down here, you're going to get a chance to see a 13 even March lows on NEO when it will be down at that point, almost a full $2 and well past that 10% mark. So some pretty significant levels still in play for stocks, and one of them, because you should be watching this if you're watching NIO or any of the EV names, is Tesla 800. Like, here comes Tesla 800. It just tried to check up here at 808. Bounced to like 812 or so. That's all it had in it, and it's still flushing to the downside. All I can say is I'm glad that I did not try that long breakout on Tesla. I told myself I wanted it to consolidate above that price before I even thought about a long. Because if you took the long break in Tesla at 840, kaputs if you didn't have an out. But that's any long at this point. I think you're holding on to your shorts. Nothing about these has been invalidated. We're continuing to see that breakout forming on UVXY. The next obvious profit-taking spot for some of these names would be if we curl up and can't get past Friday's tops on UVXY like 1950. VIX, if you're watching VXX, it'll be the same kind of thing, just different prices.
All right, yeah, great talk about all these different prices coming through here. I mean, wow, okay, AMD. I mean, yeah, thought it was going to go there, and then now I'm just like, okay, downside here, more pressure for AMD coming through, man. We missed that Intel trade. Shout out to you guys in the chat that were talking a little bit about it. INTC, of course. Damn it, we tried to get that 44 break. We weren't fast enough. Thanks for pointing it out. We tried, man. We tried in the 80s, and at this point, it's too far down for me to sort of breathe on this yet, lean on it. I just don't. I don't really want to take it here at these levels in case the market does bounce back up. We're into some of these pre-market areas now for Intel. Could drop down, but you want to talk about a name that's stronger. And we talked about this, right? Even though tech is going to get clapped, a name like Intel is more of a longer term story, so that's probably not going to get hit as bad. The valuation for Intel, is lower on a PE value, so that's why this name's not getting hit as hard. But wow, there goes. Okay, the market
Microsoft is now.
The Microsoft is dead. Facebook is dead. We just lost not a lot, but enough there on Facebook trying to catch the long. Long is wrong to say that. So the market is now down 3% and still moving. So Facebook, man, I wish we would have got out of the way. We didn't, but there it goes down to 196 and change, man. Maybe we test that 195 after all.
So after, like I just said, the only thing to really do outside of holding on to some of these shorts is sort of look for the things that concern you. And it was that seller at 750 on Palantir, and if we don't reclaim these lows of the day. If we bounce off the low in Palantir, when we just again continue to press higher on volatility and then a fresh low in the overall market, that will be a significant area. And I'll just take this one out. And obviously, we got out of NVIDIA. I could be convinced to get out of Palantir here if it manages to hold this bid and gets through that 750 seller. As I'm really interested to see what happens here with Brennan at the big screen in Sector Watch. I know Moderna was strong, but I see some other green in there, and I'm real curious as to what is green on that board.
Yeah.
Hey guys, yeah, another day, another red board. Very red, right across the entire thing. 2.37 right now for the S&P. Yeah, there's Moderna, 4.4 to the upside. BNTX, positive earnings, I guess. Didn't find anything else. VTRS, back to the upside as well on a good report, 4.87 there for that one. Everything else, though, including tech stocks here leading the way. Software makers specifically. Under pressure here, the entire group in negative territory. Hardware, semiconductors, as we mentioned. If you joined us pre-market, a lot of pressure. Same story here. Consumer discretionary stocks, specifically travel names, getting hit today. Carnival down 7.2% today. Booking.com 7%. MGM 5.5%. Caesars 5.5% as well. Not a good look. Banks even, as we said, off the interest rate last week, we did see, or interest rate hike, I should say, we did see some strength coming back into banks, but all gone. Energy to the downside, 2.5% higher for crude oil initially. Now we're down 3+ for crude to the downside. Material stock, I mean, the entire board here in the red. This is consumer staples, if you're wondering. So some of the food names, Tyson reported earnings this morning better than expected. So some of the food names higher at the moment, but everything else, yeah, pretty ugly. 2.2, guys, back to you.
Well, that is a big wick off bottom on a 265 on Microsoft there. Like it took the break, it went to 264.50. And then right back to the upside. Well, all at the same time while I'm watching the NASDAQ put in this current wick bottom through the low of the day. I mean, if we reclaim the lows, those are the types of things at this time of day, you're always sort of like concerned about that when you're riding any kind of a trade. It could be a long on an up day, it could be a short. In this particular case, I'm watching Tesla now barcoding off its low as well, a bit of a turnaround in the VIX. That's a lot of reasons to think about getting out of this. And you got to pick and choose your battles. Yeah, there is. 266 just recovered. I'm going to get out of Microsoft. If I'm going to hold something here, NEO's still below 14. Rivian has a lockup expiration. Palantir is trying to reclaim that 750. I feel like NEO and Rivian are the ones that I want to do battle with. And there goes Palantir through that 750. And lo and behold,
really?
That'll get me out of that one for sure. I'm not saying Palantir is going up, but as the market made a fresh low, Palantir did not challenge the bottom. And then the iceberg that was at the 750 level just held. So this is the time of day where I'm starting to trim. What do I like holding on to for the rest of the session, or at least through lunchtime when we just tried to make another leg down and so many names just looked like they wanted to bounce? You got to take profits somewhere, and some names are stronger than others. Remember Palantir off the open? This was 770 off the open. It only gave you but 30 cents, 30 to 35 cents, and is now consolidating off the low. If something's going to make a jailbreak, this is as good a candidate as any. It's down 20% here and just showed you a pretty strong bottom.
All right, so I must just like pain because I'm back into the long here on Facebook, and now I'm going to just give this one to 95, 195 obviously. So if that comes through, then that's it. I'm tired of getting it rips up and then it gets down 50 cents and then back up 50 cents. And I'm like, oh, what am I going to do? So I already know what I'm going to do now. We're going to try to hold this name, see if the NASDAQ does want to bounce off this minus 3% time right now. I'm looking to get something out at least around this 198, which would be nice. So if that can happen, let's put an order right now, like 197. 80 or so, or maybe 90. We'll see about that if it can get back up. So we'll put an offer there to see if it can go. We're now in the money on this trade, but hey, that doesn't really mean that much. Rivian still bouncing around this level. Oh, what I wanted to get to was Brendan just put Square LOL in our chat. So let's have a look at Square. I actually like this name down here. So Square obviously with a big dump from 93 to 85. But like a lot of things, Neil just indicated that softy wick. There you have one on Square. Now, this name's been so weak. You're down 10%. I mean, this is a lot different than a Microsoft, a Facebook, an Apple, things like that. Square and PayPal, these names just continue to fall down. You get bump ups like Square did on its earnings, but straight to the downside. And here's the bump in the daily chart back. That's not the bump I'm talking about. Here, there's a couple bumps in here on the dailies from 92 up to 110 there, back and forth. But right now, it's not looking great here for Square, as that's having a problem at these bottoms. So
that's not where I put the LOL.
What would you do? On a firm? Yeah, I mean, what the hell's PayPal?
Relatively speaking.
What is PayPal, actually? Hold on a second. PayPal's still down 10. Yeah, so all these...
yeah.
Oh, no, actually, sorry about that. PayPal down 2. That was carried forward from Square. But yeah, Neil's got one that beats them all.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's not that bad. 13% down and $20 on a firm. Well, sorry, $20 level on a firm coming into play matters more. Because I had to look back and Block hadn't broken its last low. Whereas you got through 25 on a firm, which gives you a 20 level, and there's always going to be crazier names that you can look at. Like I said, I started trimming. All I have left on is BTTX, small cap, doesn't care about the market. NEO and Rivian, to be sure, even though they're trying to bounce. Tesla never got to 800, so you sit around, wait for a specific price. You don't get it. It got to 806 and is now starting to rally in here. So a little bit of a bid is starting to come into that market. NEO's even starting to bounce back towards that 14 even. I can't really say I'm going to reload on this one. If it gets back to 14, that's not a reload spot for me on NEO. Not the way that we've just made those lows. You're going to profit from those shorts. There's no need at this time of day to be aggressive with your reloads. Rivian might be a little bit of a different story. I know there's a lot that we have sort of ignored here. One I didn't mean to and didn't want to was Peloton. Look at the relative weakness of Peloton. When I see the market trying to make a bounce and something isn't breaking the bottom channel, that's the weakness that you're looking for if you want to try to get into a short or maybe hold on to a short. If I had Peloton instead of maybe NEO or Palantir or one of these other shorts, I'd be hanging on to this. The way that I'm seeing the market bounce, and it doesn't want to go with it. So sort of find these pockets of relative strength and weakness and lean into them if you can. I know Intel and Micron were relatively strong before. They're showing some similar signs of that. They're bouncing. Intel never took those lows. That's a value type of a thing there, where it's just valuation is a bit better. Micron, on the other hand, is sort of coming all the way back in. I think it's got just as good a valuation. It's highly cyclical, so they'd stink in a recession, at least short term, but man, that stock is cheap, relatively speaking. It is now getting to a pretty significant price on the daily. This 67.5 to 68 at these lows, and you go to the 15-minute chart, that gets pretty juicy for Micron. But that's a pretty big V recovery. Just going to note, it was this and Intel that had relative strength in the semis. Now it's just Intel that has the relative strength in the semis, which would have made sense.
Oh,
if
Intel's back?
Yeah, but Micron's back more than Intel, which to me is a little bit interesting. I would have thought they'd both have some relative strength today, at least compared to the NVIDIAs and AMDs of the world.
I got you, yeah. Okay, we will drop down a little bit of cash. We're still on the positive side today, obviously, here for our net. So I'll tell you when I'm red or when I'm green. That's no problem, but you guys should be able to understand something here for my trading. But there it is, man. Facebook goes to 95. We get the 95s, but we did take some out at 50 when it ripped up there in the first place. Our first out was 50, then we took a 70, and then we took a 95. So we're still in 70% of this Facebook trade as the market is failing again at the 50 period. So that's all I noticed. Like, I called Facebook to 90. Facebook went to 90. I mean, and we got out. It's just we did take some more out here as, you know, it's trying to fail at this 50 period one more time. We're still short AMD. That was just a little bit in the money there for us. We've made some money on the short, but now it's trying to get back upside. We don't want to hold this for too long because, again, I mean, I have 4 times the shares in Facebook. So if Facebook goes, AMD will be fine. I got to get out, though. If we break above 90 on AMD, I think we can get out. What now? There's always so much happening.
I'm trying to figure out how I just, at 10:49, now Virgin Galactic breaks the low of the day.
I got you, yeah.
Like, as the market's trying to bounce, now it goes through. Anyways, I got 630 because that's how much volume there was when it took out the level, that it could barely even get to 29s and then still hit the offer. Obviously, it's SSR from last week, but either way, it's only now breaking the low of the day. Oh, man, I should be shorting pops on this. But look, this is the low that I wanted, so I said I'd take it. We've already broken the previous March bottom. All I was looking at was the bottom that we made on Friday. We were shorting it last week, but yeah, a double bottom on a stock like this with a downgrade as weak as it is, I'm going to take this one. And if it gets back above like that 660, I guess I'll be out of it. But it took a while. I'm finally into Virgin Galactic short. It only took till 10:50 on a day where everything was a short. So I say that with a chuckle, but hey, you've got to have your entry prices, you've got to have your exits. That's what we kept talking about this morning. When the market was whipsawing back and forth on so many of these names, like I was staring at NVIDIA on the 3, like look at it going back and forth, but it's like, nah, like the short is still valid. We're still below that 82. Everything on the higher time frame still checks out, is it's going back and forth here, and eventually it collapsed into 185, and just about everything I was looking at was the same thing. You know, you could have got shaken out of so many. Thankfully, it was only Uber that shook me out for the short side of the trade. You know, that's not going to age well, but I always say you have to be willing to make a top wick every now and then, although that's about as ugly as it's going to get on the Uber short. Thankfully, it's the only one that it happened to.
Yeah, and that's like when you're actively trading the way we are. I mean, Neil just covered it there. You're going to get wicked out in ins and all that stuff, and that's just part of dealing with the game that we're doing. But thank you guys one more time for. Oh yeah, we still okay, good. Still bear. I wish I could turn it to bull. I think this afternoon we'll get that bull.
Probably not today.
Yeah, I think I don't know. I think.
You could maybe put the bull on for like short term. But I think we usually use it for like sentiment on the day.
Yes.
I think, which is hard to have anything but the bear today.
Yeah.
Maybe lunch will at least be good.
I think that is it. Oh, lunch is Spanish-style sausage. Not really sure what that is, other than maybe chorizo.
Yeah, why wouldn't they just say chorizo?
I don't know, but Spanish-style sausage is what's good. So that's what's for lunch today. But you're on the salad, so you can put a sausage on top. We'll get the cold sausage on top. It's like the same thing. Okay. All right. So Facebook again, like I said, man, if you're going to fail at this 50 period, we don't need to keep on, trying the longs and then having to get out when it breaks it. So there it is, man. We take about $1 or so on Facebook there. So hopefully if it does come back in, we're able to average in, but now you're back down to 197 again, putting us back to flat now on FB. Been a good day. Could always be better. Rivian though, down to 24 and change. Downside here for RIVN. starting to break, and size pushing Rivian. Hello, now we see some size on this stock finally. It's not going to take that long, and there it goes. But 36 million, like the volume is starting to pick up a little bit here on Rivian, so maybe the sellers are coming in. Someone just sold 400,000 shares there, got hit pretty fast, so, or was it only 40,000? Rivian to the downside with some size now trying to follow this thing off. So yeah, it's my favorite segment, and it should be yours because it's what talks and BS walks. It's Money Talks with Brendan.
Hey guys, yeah, wild day for currencies as well. I mean, specifically down here, cryptocurrency is getting hit hard right now. 11.5 for Ethereum, almost 10% at one point, back to 32.5 here for Bitcoin. That's a daily chart of Ethereum over there, testing multi-month lows once again. Important levels, 2350, 2300 an area down there for Ethereum. We'll see if they bounce, but yeah, pretty ugly right across the entire board. Worth noting here, Australian dollar, New Zealand getting hit as well, 1%, 1.3, both to the downside after some data out overnight. Not good in both of those economies, so back to the downside. The US dollar is trying to bounce once again today, 0.3. Back towards that 104 area. Sadly, Frank Caberna on holidays this week. He picked a good week to go away, but I really wanted to pick his brain on what this is going to do for the rest of the week. But we'll get his take next week again from Frank on the US dollar, British pound, Canadian dollar, even the Swiss franc, Japanese yen, all in negative territory, guys. Lots of red everywhere today. Back over to you.
I'll throw one more that I didn't really think was going to happen. I kind of felt like there was a pocket of things that had fallen so far that maybe they catch a bid. Lordstown, it did go to 150 twice, pre-market then at the open, but it's now barcoding, actually bouncing and recovering a little bit here. So ride, going for a ride and still holding up. However, look, if this shelf were to break on ride, like look what's happening. You showed 24 and Rivian there. At the same time, this is what Tesla's doing, retesting these bottoms. Like if you're looking at that little relief rally in Lordstown and asking yourself what could happen next, if we don't hold 800, if the market doesn't hold up here, these lows, and if Tesla doesn't hold 800, that little nice relief shelf on Rivian or on Lordstown, that's probably gonzo when you're heading right back into 150. And sometimes you got to be willing to take the short at these lows. There hasn't been too much of another trade. There's been some bounces if you got the stones, just sit in front of some of these longs and go for it. There's been some bounce opportunities to happen if you want to take them. One that I have not gotten into, which I said I was gonna look for a long in Palantir off of these bottoms. I got out of the short. It's still looking relatively strong here. It's down 20%.
Yeah.
What I mean is the market keeps breaking lower, and it just keeps grinding off of these lows. So that's the relative strength. I'm talking more in a shorter time frame here. In the last 15 minutes to a half an hour, it's been relatively strong at these bottoms on Palantir. But obviously it's down 20%. That don't mean that it's been a good stock today. But holding the lows at least as we go to Brendo.
Note guys on Twitter, yeah, big spike downside for Twitter. There's reports floating around suggesting the price will be lower. No suggestion as to how much lower, but a few people just circulating that again. Price to be lower for Twitter.
See, this is the thing. Like we were just talking about.
Elon's got him by the balls if he wants to drop his offer.
Yeah, I mean, the market is going to tank that Twitter if and when that comes through. So I thought the deal was pretty much confirmed, but there's $1 billion. Is it $1 billion breakup fee?
It's $1 billion breakup fee, which is nothing, man. Like think about what Tesla's pulled back here. If you're on the Twitter board. And know that if he doesn't do the deal, the stock is in the 30s, if that, especially after today, then you got to ask yourself, like, if he decides to do it and says, now I want to pay 45, what are their options? Brendo?
There's also a new Hindenburg report, guys. They are short Twitter, so they don't believe it's going to happen, period. Anyways, big spike there for Twitter. Let's get a look at what's to come for earnings aftermarket and tomorrow morning.
Yeah, and this is, oh my goodness. You look at some of the names that are on here tomorrow, and it's like
the big guy in the middle there. AMC.
I know it's AMC, the big one, but if you're talking about like the I don't want to say crap stocks, but some of those growth names getting put to the test. For Upstart, Smile Direct, Plug Power, and Peloton to be all in the docket.
Yeah.
And Clover.
Jeez.
Is that Clover Health?
Where is it?
Not Clover Health. Oh, it is Clover. Yeah,
I can't even see it. Where are you talking? Oh yeah, Clover. Yeah. Good logo.
That's an interesting day for those to be out here. That's
literally just says Clover.
That's going to be dicey, man. And this is the thing with this market. It's been a short this morning, and I know you didn't want to do it. And I was kind of The other side of me was like,
we're
okay,
crushing this long
if the
right now,
lows
though.
could hold and then you get a breakout, that would have been fantastic. That hasn't happened. Tesla, I don't know where, Twitter, I don't know where the bottom might be for a move like that. You might want to look back to where it tanked when the deal came out, which is sort of approaching this 47.80, this 48 that we're seeing right now. So we're going to see what happens on Twitter. But yeah, Elon's got a lot of leverage if he wanted to drop the price. That's all I'm saying. I said it a couple times before. That's even strengthened. The weaker the market gets,
very valid. Yeah,
that's a stronger position for him to make that case, because if you're a stockholder here, 47
I may just get out.
47 is better than 35. That's all I'm saying.
You know what? Honestly, there's no upside anymore. Like I own Twitter. It's in the 20s or 30s. It's a good price, but I was hoping for that we'd get that 54.20. But I mean, right now it does make a lot of sense, Neil. I think what you're saying is true. He can do whatever he wants at this point, because that stock, there's going to be no buyers if not him. So Ms. V in red was an omen today. What's up, Ms. V?
Hey guys, I hope you're having a wonderful day so far. Thank you so much for joining us today. And guys, just 100 more likes needed to get to 2,000 would be really great. So if you didn't like this video yet, please do so and join Prad and me right after to continue trading. And happy National Moscato Day, everyone.
Moscato? Okay, Moscato, yeah, for sure. I'm down with that.
Work.
Nice little grape there. Have it, You get that red, you get that white in there.
That'll work.
I'm, big fan. I've been drinking Chardonnay lately. I like Riesling as the temperature turns for us, a little bit warmer now.
That's where I go.
So you have a nice little refreshing taste, and then, but anytime is wine time in my house. So
I would agree.
A shout out. I think we had I can't remember what we had on the weekend, but it was a white, and it wasn't Riesling, but it was something. I'll get
my wife was like,
Sauvignon Blanc, maybe.
she wanted sushi, which
That's
two things.
I'm
A,
down.
it means like like I'm not making sushi for her on Mother's Day. I just can't pull it off. There's people that probably could. I just can't do it. B, you had to risk. Well, what does my daughter eat? And you know what? For the first time,
rice, no?
For the first time ever, she actually ate a roll and liked it.
There you go.
That is.
It had avocado in it, right? She likes avocado. Yeah,
that is a game-changing
Changer,
moment for a parent when your kid wants to eat something like that. It's like, oh my goodness, now we can have sushi and you want it too. And we had a rosé, which was a weird choice, but it's what my wife wanted, so that's what we did. I'm not a huge fan of the rosé, but she wanted to have it, so that's what we did.
I like the sparkling, the bubbly rosé there. I get a little bit popping off in there. Okay, yeah, good guys. Brendan is busy, so I was going to ask him about what his wine of choice would be today. Can we throw over to Brendan? Is he ready to rock and roll? Okay, let's go.
I'm going to go California Cabernet Sauvignon or Chardonnay, because it's summer, guys.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Good.
go with the
Yeah.
Chard.
Exactly. That's why we're the
white wine
Chardonnay
time.
and the Riesling. But yep, I agree, man. I knew that's his favorite, the California Cab. So I knew that. But nice little day today, man. As Rivian right now, we just continue to cash in on this one, but we don't have many shares left, unfortunately. As Rivian to the downside right now, $1.50 in the money there, $6.50 in the money on Microsoft. As we're getting ready to pass you over to Trader Pratt and Ms. V. AMD, 80 cents in the money on AMD, as that's at the day's low. Man, we are just cashing in right now. We did cash out of some of Facebook here, as there's the long 197 flat at 197.80, 197.50, and now we're in trouble as it's looking like it wants to test that 195. That's my ultimate doomsday there for Facebook. But what a great show, Neil.
Yeah, what an unbelievable show. And the timing that we're going to send you to Trader Pratt and Ms. V for Market Movers is as Tesla just got to 802. I know Ms. V is going to be all over that one. Take it over, guys.
Welcome to Market Movers. It's time for a new week with the beautiful Ms. V and Trader Pratt.
Thank you, Prad. Beautiful Prad. Guys, welcome. I hope you had a great weekend. Welcome back. Please make sure you like this video, be active on the chat, ask us anything. And yeah, markets are as red as my shirt today. So why don't we take a look what is falling?
Yeah, so at the moment, I have Microsoft open here. Let me just fix this chart. There we go. There's a beautiful little chart. Lower the chair down. Got it. We can just bring the camera up higher.